Approaching the score.
Well, a wonderful wintry Wednesday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440 Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. As always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Be safe on the roads. Lots of snow, please. For the love of everything, turn your lights on. Your daytime running lights are for the front of your car. They don't automatically turn the lights on the back of your car. Lights on is front and back. Okay? Lights on, folks, especially here. Well, it's December 18th, so it's pretty much dark at like 3:30. So have your lights on when you make your way home. It is better for everybody. No question about it. Because the last thing you want is in an accident week before Christmas is indeed 1 week away from the Jolly Man arriving. So hopefully you're good. Can you make up for a bad year by being good for a week? That's the challenge. That's a challenge. I do know that how many parents use the Santa's watching in the month of December line? You try not to, but certain point you do, because it does get the attention. Those little gaffers, all of a sudden, they're like, whoa, what? All right, I'm on my best behavior. It's great. So, Gregor Show is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where, hey, you know what? Maybe you're not going to get her out. There's no Oiler game tonight. No worries. You could just sit at home and get tickets for Lotto 649, the gold ball jackpot, $48 million. Also, the classic jackpot's up to 5. So get your tickets, PlayAlberta.ca. Hey, boys, I'm on the QE2, and literally 9% of the cars do not have their taillights on. Exactly, Slurpy Sean. Like, this is lunacy. It has become, like, I don't understand it. It's like people just think, I don't think they understand the concept. And you know what? Maybe the car dealers, when you sell someone a car, explain to them how it works. That you need your rear, like, daytime running lights don't light up your taillights. Okay? They just don't. So get on it. Safer for everybody. You're on the highway and you got snow blowing all over the place. You don't know it. It's just not good. So turn on. Safer for you. Safer for everybody else. Everybody gets home. Everybody's excited. Everybody's safe. It's a win, win, win for everyone. Okay? Now, speaking of a win, what an unbelievable package. So we've got a few days left in the month of giving. We have 2 days left today and tomorrow, auction, and Pyramid of Giving on Monday, which is, on Friday. And so today, we've never had this system. So a big shout out to Jonathan and everybody at Culligan as they donated an unbelievable package. So this is the water home filtration system package from Culligan. It includes everything. The high-efficiency smart water softener, and it comes with the Aqua Sensor. You also get the AquaSential smart reverse osmosis system, and you get the whole house chlorine removal system. So it can be applied to any residents in Edmonton who's on the Epcor municipal water supply. Also, if you're acreage or a farm and you have the farm treatment, don't worry. They can set it up. It'll work out there as well. You just adjust the package so the treatment system matches the well water characteristics. That's how advanced it is now. So this removes the hard scale from the main water supply, which benefits skin, hair, laundry, and plumbing infrastructure. The reverse osmosis removes dissolved solids, organics, heavy metals, pharmaceuticals, the forever chemicals from household drinking water. The chlorine removal filter provides a whole house removal of chlorine and chloramines from the main supply to the house. So this is unbelievable deal. This is something that and you're going to use for a long, long time. They come in, they install it, includes everything. So fantastic, wonderful package. Today, if you want, you can dial us up at 833-401-1440. Text us 833-401-1440 in our eWell inbox. Value on this, baby. This might be our biggest package value-wise all year. So this is great. And this is something you're going to use in your house pretty much for as long as you own your home. And it's a great deal. So, hey, maybe somebody out there, you're building your home. You want to get this put in it. You just got a new home. Or you just, our water, kids, maybe your clothes. Who knows? This helps you for a lot of things. So check it out. You can see all the details at jasongregor.com or in my article today at Oilers Nation, the Help Me Understand article, which we got a lot of things. Hey, there's things I need help on understanding. Like, why can't people turn their lights on? I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't know when we suddenly lost it. Not good. Not good at all. In the National Hockey League tonight, the Oilers, of course, are not playing. Oilers had the day off today. They will take on the Boston Bruins. The Bruins came back last night. They were trailing the Flames, but came back to win the game in overtime. David Pasternak with a huge goal for the Bruins, and they win 4-3. Another game for the Flames, unable to get that elusive fourth goal. What about the Blackhawks? Down 2-0. They come back and defeat the Capitals 3-2. You had the Predators shutting out the Rangers. Oh, my goodness. Like Chris Jury, talk about a move that backfired. Because ever since he went public with, we're open for business, we want to trade guys, his players have not responded at all. I don't think it had the effect he was hoping it would have. They got shut out by the worst place, the worst team in the league in Nashville. Nuts. Devils get by the Blues 4-1. The Hurricanes shut out the Islanders 4-0. Penguins over the Kings 3-2. That helps the Oilers a little bit. Kings do get a point. Lightning over the Blue Jackets, and the Canadians absolutely pound the Canadians. So you got Buffalo and you got the Rangers. They're both floundering. The Rangers, at least, both teams had aspirations. A lot of people thought the Rangers were going to be one of the dominant teams in the East. They're not even in the playoffs right now. They lost more ground to Ottawa last night because Ottawa got another shutout from Allmark. Allmark's on fire. His last 6 starts, he's only allowed 5 goals, has 2 shutouts. He is killing it right now. And did Boston keep the wrong goalie? Might be a question we'll have to ask Boston. Now, how much of Swayman struggles with the fact that he held out? Holding out does not work. Okay? It just doesn't do it. You get your money, and maybe they don't care because they get their money, but it kind of ruins a year for the guys. For whatever reason, that's what it does. So we'll see. But so tonight, decent night in the NHL. Flyers in Detroit. You got the Maple Leafs in Dallas. Florida's in Minnesota. Canucks are in Utah, and the Jets are in Anaheim. And then, of course, the Oilers will host the Boston Bruins tomorrow night. An opportunity. Vegas is hosting the Canucks, so who knows? Maybe Vancouver does Edmonton a little bit of help. If the Oilers take care of business, they will inch closer to Vegas. Hot Salsa starts the bidding at 1,500. Great name. So we are off and running for the month of giving. Hey, guys, the people with the daylights are the same people who don't know how to change their blinker fluid for their turn signals. It's Woody Dennis, the Browns fan. I like it. Even in a tough, more season, you still have your sense of humor. I like it. The guy, Sean Avery, next Rangers GM. Yeah. Okay. I guess if they want to go worse, 100%. But nope, I do not see it at all. Yeah, guys, I honestly think it goes back when the manufacturers started making the vehicles with auto lights. People just get in and drive, assume their lights are on. Well, yeah, Dave, I hardly agree with you. And you know what? I think we have to start a campaign. Auto doesn't mean your full lights are on. I may just make a campaign. Maybe we should start a funny one. It'll go viral because I think most people would agree with it. I don't know if there's anybody out there who's like, hey, Gregor, I love it that no one has their lights on. I think this is a great idea. I guess maybe an insurance person, but even then, probably not. So, hey, boys, didn't the Rangers just sign their goalie for $1 bazillion? Yeah, but it don't matter, man. That's one player. And they lost 2-0, but Shesterkin isn't their problem in New York. I'll tell you that. They got some bigger problems for sure. Now, speaking of bigger problems, I want to, because I think this is a topic that we should get into, not just for today. I think it's a topic that needs to be discussed. I put out requests because I think this is a topic that's going to impact everybody listening who has kids in minor hockey. And Hockey Alberta is planning on removing borders. So it doesn't matter where you live. You can go play wherever you want. And my main question is why? I don't think this is well thought out. I see way more negatives than positives. We've already jumped the shark on lunacy in minor hockey. Right? People thinking, you got to play with the best of the best when you're young. No, you don't. There's actually no study ever done that shows you need to do that. And we can go down the list of players in the NHL that will tell you that's not true. Okay, it's not true. First of all, you have no idea, U9, U11, if those kids are going to have the passion required to commit to eating well all the time, to going to bed early all the time, to skipping a lot of socializing. Do they have, then even if they have that, do they have the talent? Because it is really hard. Okay, it's really hard. But how many kids are getting burnt out now because at a young age, mom and dad and everybody, little Johnny, little Jill, they got to be in the AAA team. Oh my God, if they're not, we got no chance. It's ridiculous. So now what happens in associations right now who maybe have 20 kids, 18 kids in one age group, and maybe the best kid's like, well, I got to move to a bigger market so I can play better. Okay, sure. Now that kid, here's what everybody doesn't understand. And you can look at it even in the context of drafted NHL players. They get sent back to junior for 1-2 years, and they go to the American League, and lots of them never make it. Right? Now, most of these kids, lots of them have been pretty good players for most of their career. Not always the best, but pretty good. Right? Probably top 5 player in their team. So, but what everybody forgets about making these great teams, there's only so many goals to be scored. Scoring is a skill that needs to be learned. And then knowing that, when there's a big moment in the game, I'm going to score a goal. That's a skill. And dealing with that pressure. Now, hopefully, minor coaches and parents don't put that pressure on their kids, but it's just one of those things that scoring's a skill. Making a save's a skill. Defending's a skill. Scoring's a skill. That's pretty hard. Now you put everybody together. Well, there's only 5 or 6 goals in the game. Well, now you got a bunch of kids who, if they had played on the other team, and now you have our Drawson playing Beaumont, who plays St. Albert, who plays Sherwood Park, and each one has 2 or 3 really good kids. They all play against each other. Great. Now we want to put them all on one team. It's lunacy. Right? But here's the other problem. Okay. This is catering to the small minority of the people that get over crazed about double and triple A hockey. As though it's the, you know what? Somehow I'm a better parent because my son or daughter is a double A player. Right? And I never hear the people talk like that about their kids' education, which I find rather interesting. Right? What are the odds that they're going to need an education compared to the odds that they're going to play professional sports? Yet you look at how people act and react and talk about their minor sports compared to their education. It's mind-blowing to me. But anyway, so what's going to happen is you have a lot of associations right now that are struggling to get ice. Right? They're bursting at the seams. There's not enough ice. Right? You're moving out there. They're limiting practice time. So now, well, geez, guess what? We're going to bring in 6 kids who are AAA players. And now that pushes everybody else down. Where's the extra ice time come? You know who gets cut out? The bottom kids. The vast majority. Because at U9, you know what? Bob, who's the president of the association, him and Steve, who run it, they're like, guess what? We know that Steve and Joe and Noah and Liam and all the other names, whatever the kids' names are nowadays, right? Yeah, they're going to make it. So we got to really put all of our emphasis and all of our eggs into these kids. Screw the other 9-year-olds. Like, this guy's only a tier 2 player at 9. Phew, what a loser. He doesn't need to practice. They're not committed. Like, I've heard all of this garbage. Okay, I've heard it. You've probably heard it too. And so people need to be talking to Hockey Alberta. And trust me, we put out the request, waiting to get a response. Would love to hear them. Feel free, Hockey Alberta. If you want to make this decision, then talk to the public. We'll give you the platform. Tell us why you think this is good. Just explain why. Because for every one reason you think's good, there's lots that aren't good. And most people are not going to think about the long-term consequences. They're not. They're only going to think, well, geez, you know what? We've lost 2 or 3 kids, left our association. They went to HSL. And here's the funny thing. The HSL has tried to work with Hockey Alberta numerous times, right? Hockey Alberta, we hate this. We hate how you guys build this to make power teams. Now, what are they doing? Right? Hockey Canada, BCHL, no, you guys are a joke. Oh, what do they do now? They welcome all the players back in. The hypocrisy is ridiculous. Okay? They spent years slagging them all, and now they're going to do the exact same thing rather than say, hey, maybe we can work together, right? Because they're too arrogant and they don't want to. That's the problem. And so while your son or daughter is playing minor hockey, and here's the other thing, even if Hockey Alberta says they're going to do it, you know what? This is where some associations should have some guts and say, we're not going to do it. You're allowed to do it, but we decide in Sherwood Park, in Stony Plain, in Leduc, we're not doing it. We're going to support our kids, right? The ones who pay taxes for the arenas in our places. They're going to get to use those facilities. Simple. Now, you get up to midget AAA, right? By then, kids have kind of, you know what? There's some pretty good players. You kind of have a semblance of what it is. You know if the kids are committed now. Do they want to do the working out all the time? Do they want to eat right? Do they want to sleep right? You have a better sense. Okay, I get it at that level. And you've always had some imports at that. That's always been there. I'm fine with that. But at younger levels, what are we doing? What are we doing? It is so ridiculous. And don't, you get people, all they talk about is AA, AAA. Like, it's the only focus. And there's so many people that have been blinded by the status of where their child plays, or this, I'm the head of the association and we want to win, right? I can tell you a U11 team, there's 2 teams that are supposed to be AA. They put all the supposed best players on one of the teams and then the next on the other team. They're in the same league. Well, guess what happens? The one team's crushing everybody, 20-1, 17-2. What the hell are they learning? Huh? What are they learning? To what? Satisfy the ego of a few parents? Like, it's comical. Let's just call it what it is. It's comical and it's sad. And I hope more people understand what the long-term non-benefits of this decision would be by Hockey Alberta, because they haven't thought it through at all. I'm sorry. They'll tell you they have. They haven't. They don't want to talk about it publicly. Why not? That's my other question. So we'll get your thoughts on it. Let me know what you think. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Take a quick break. Mike Rupp is going to join us. Also, Fred Fox will be by. Huge news this week. Terry Fox is going to be on the $5 bill. Whoa. There's very few things that you get complete agreement with. And I don't know if there's anybody who doesn't think that's a great decision to have Terry Fox, who is one of the most inspirational Canadians of all time. And the great part is, you know, you have a wonderful history, and I don't even know if legacy is the right word or not, but young kids today know who Terry Fox is because the Terry Fox run still happens. They understand why it happens. They get to hear his story. It's amazing. Yaremchuk will be by. We'll have the business of sport with Rich Winrich. We might even dive into the minors, but we will talk about it on a pro level. Spec will be by, and more on the Wednesday edition of the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hair Aware with Dr. Vance Elliott.
Hey, Dr. Vance, does a hair transplant have to look like a hair transplant? There's a guy at work, his is totally obvious.
My goal is to give every one of my patients a full, natural-looking head of hair, so I stay up to date on the latest innovations. This is science, and more importantly, an art. I do things differently and move more hair than is normally done, resulting in a thicker look that is also more natural.
Trust a world-renowned expert in hair restoration. Book an appointment at drvanceelliott.com today.
It feels like the cost of everything has been going up and up and up. That's why Encore's electricity rates are getting really low. With our rates falling lower, you can feel carefree about your bill.
A low rate means lower stress.
Switch to a new fixed-rate electricity plan with Encore by Epcor and save.
Get the lowdown
And stay carefree at encore.epcor.com/lowdown. Customers are free to purchase natural gas or electricity services from a retailer of their choice. For a list of retailers, visit ucahelps.alberta.ca or call 310-4822 toll-free.
Get ready to make a game day decision with McDonald's Fan Day Deal. Grab a $4 Big Mac, McChicken, or filet fish sandwich exclusively through the McDonald's app. Wow, what a deal. Plus, tax valid on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays for a limited time at participating restaurants in Alberta and Northwest Territories.
You don't know what awaits you on the road to come, but with the 2025 XC90 from Volvo of Edmonton, you'll have the versatility to take on whatever life throws at you. The new XC90, a luxurious SUV with seating for up to 7, boasts newly upgraded body and wheel design. It's the perfect choice to drive into the coming year. And right now, you'll save $4,500 and lease from 1.49% on all in-stock 2025 XC90s. Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, 1205 101 Street Southwest.
Are you watching the interest rates these days? Of course you are. Paying less interest leaves money in your pocket. That's why St. Albert Dodge is happy to tell you that right now they have 0% financing on virtually all new 2024 models. Hundreds to choose from: Jeep Compass, Wrangler, Grand Cherokee, and Wagoneer, Dodge Durango, and Hornet, Ram 1500, 2500, 3500, all with 0% financing. Why pay interest? Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need: Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade: safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we believe in the wisdom of Patch Adams. Treat a disease, you win, you lose. Treat a person, I guarantee you'll win no matter what the outcome. We don't treat conditions, we treat people. From personalized treatment plans to compassionate care, we're committed to helping you achieve your goal. That's why hands-on techniques, unique technologies, and a commitment to hiring amazing people mixed with friendly, fun neighborhood environments. And ta-da! No, it's not magic. It's about being human. Sometimes being human hurts, but life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Everyone at Brentridge Ford on the Wetaskiwin Auto Mile would like to wish you all the best during this festive season. Enjoy good food, good friends, with family. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from Richard Leslie and all the staff at Brentridge Ford.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Better holidays start with better ingredients, better pizza from Papa John's. Get 25% off any regular price pizza when you use the code word BETTER25 at papajohns.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Two 223. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. People are fired up about this topic. I love it. So we got lots of text that we will get to on that coming up. But first, we're going to go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald. Also, we're up to 1,800 on our from package from Paul. We'll update you on that. So thanks, Paul, for the bid up to 1,800. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. This is one of the biggest packages we've ever had. Unbelievable. And this, I should always remind everyone, these are donated by the companies, right? Full donation from Culligan. So that's amazing. Around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. It's Thursday, and the Fan Day deals. Woo! Order it through the app, and you get $4 Big Macs, $4 McChicken, $4 filet o fish, but only through the McDonald's app. As we welcome in from the NHL Network, Stanley Cup winner, analyst for the Pittsburgh Penguins, Mike Rupp. Rupper, how you doing?
I'm good, Greg. How you doing, buddy?
Well, I can tell you I'm doing much better than the Sabres and the Rangers right now. Oh, my goodness. And the Rangers, like Chris Drury, I'm trying to think of a move that has backfired more than his decision to send out the, hey, we're looking, hey, send us your offers for Kreider and Trouba, because ever since that's gone out, the Rangers have just driven right into the ditch.
Yeah, I mean, man, I know it's been a lot of that's gone kind of public, which I think in a lot of regards was intentional. And I think that's where the problem is, right? That a lot of these things seem to be used as a way to put pressure on players to try to get public opinion, change public opinion, and even the Kreider situation to prod the players. And I just think players want honesty. Just be straightforward. Just come tell me what it is. Talk to me about it. And I don't think in that situation that happened very often. It was done a lot, I think, through the media and through the agent and a lot of those different scenarios. And I think that's what leaves a bad taste. It's just not having that man-to-man conversation, look at each other in the eye and just having respect. And I think that's the main thing. It's respect. And I think it's a two-way street. And I think a lot of players on that team don't feel like it's been.
Yeah, it's not. I look at their team, Rupper, and you watch a lot more of their games than I do. Like, they've got enough talent. Now, some of their guys, like Zibanejad, is struggling mightily. The Capo Caco benching. Now, I know people say, well, he shouldn't have said it. I'm like, why? You can't say the truth? He spoke the truth. Now, people, maybe it's not within the team thing, but he's not wrong, right? Like, there's other guys, Capo Caco, like for a team that just gets beat up and gives up a ton of goals, when he's on the ice, they're like plus 10. Yet he's the guy who gets scratched. Like, I don't know if the coach is just so, trusting of his veterans, or is Capo playing worse than his analytics say?
I think it's phony accountability, because he's the easy out. I've been that guy on teams before, and it's frustrating, I think, as a player. I will say, I think if Kako would have left it with the first part, I love that he stuck up for himself and did it in the media. I'm good with that. There was also some, at least I think part of that interview also asked him if there's been any more communication with the coaching staff about the scratching. He said, no, it was just, I was told I wasn't playing. And I think that's what adds to the frustration. I mean, you sit there as a player, give me something that I can sink my teeth into, I can grab onto and really, this is what I have to do to stay in the lineup, or whatever the circumstance is. I think that's what becomes frustrating when you don't get that. It's just, you're out and you're not given a reason why. So you're going to look for the reasons why. And when you look for Kako, he's been good. I mean, he's been, for what he's called on to be, I think he's been fine. Now, the second part of what Capo Kako said, I didn't really like that. I think he should have stopped at the first part when he said, basically, paraphrasing, but my teammate, there's been worse than me. That's where it gets a little tricky. And that's where I think it's always a tough spot, because you don't ever want to bring up, even though names weren't brought up, that creates a little bit of a wedge with the players. But I started thinking to myself, like, why would a player do that or say that? And I think that this, I guess to summarize it, this is the cloud that's over that team right now. That it's gotten to the point where it's the wild, wild west. Everyone's just looking out for themselves. And you're going to sit there and you're hearing names be drugged through the media. You're hearing names be thrown out there for trades. You're seeing these things kind of in what you feel is disrespectful. And now you feel like you're not treated fairly. So now you're trying to push back. And all of these things are screaming non-team origin stuff, right? Like, you're trying to get out of a terrible situation right now. And you've got guys that are just fending for themselves, because it feels like you don't know when you're going to get knifed in the back. And I think that's what the scenario is around that team right now. And I think it's frustrating.
What about the Sabres?
Oh, man. Oh, Yeah, I don't know. What do you do after that, right? Like,
Oh, God,
Terry
that was
Pegula. So first off, to get the news that Terry Pegula flew to Montreal to meet with the team, to address the team. I'm like, okay, here we go. I mean, that's a pretty substantial thing. When the big guy's coming and he's flying on his own to come to a different city and all those good things. And to hear what was said, I was like, okay. Like, I'm trying not to. My knee jerk is what? What is? There's got to be something here. It can't just stay the course. I mean, this course has been stayed on for years with this franchise, and so I'm thinking to myself, maybe it's just take some of the air out of the balloon here and take some of the pressure off the team. So maybe this could work. You get into that game last night, and the way that game goes early, and here's the thing: it didn't happen against the Winnipeg Jets. It didn't happen against one of the top teams in the league. It happened against Montreal. And it's no knock to Montreal, but the Montreal Canadiens are one of the worst teams in the league. So are the Buffalo Sabres right now. But I think to not get any kind of pushback or any kind of anything, honestly, Greg, I don't know what you do from here. Like, where do you go from here? There's only one way for this team to go, and that seems to be up. But it's between these two franchises, it seems like every game that passes trumps the prior game as far as rock bottom. Like, at some point here, we're getting down to the core of this earth. We're running out of room to get to rock bottom. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, sadly for the Sabres, I guess they still could go lower because they could have Chicago and Nashville past them. But you're right. Like, it is like that game last night. Like, you can lose sometimes, Rupper, and you play really well. I'm sure you've been in games like that. You're like, okay, yeah, it sucks we lost. But, man, I really liked lots part of our game. Like, last night, that was all. They weren't even close in that game. Their penalty kill, like Patrick Laine is just, shooting BB after BB after BB, and they're doing nothing. Like, it was like they lost to the team that was only 1 point ahead of them. Or sorry, 1 point behind them. Like, the only team who was worse than them in the East, and they just got spanked 6-1. Like that. There's so many issues there, from ownership to their hiring process. Their GM when they hired Lindy Ruff. And I'm not like Lindy Ruff, no coach is going to fix all that. But the fact that they didn't even interview anyone else to learn stuff about your organization, to me, that just shows ineptitude.
Yeah, no, it's fair. I mean, there's so many different ways we can kind of give our opinions on what's wrong there. I think it's a culmination of so many different things. You know what I started looking at the other day, and this really doesn't mean anything now. I'm just thinking to myself, why has this not worked out for this franchise over the years? I mean, you've had an owner that's spending money. He's willing to spend money. He has spent money. So this isn't like, oh, this is a small market team that won't spend. You think back to some of the bad contracts they had years back. I mean, they'll spend some money. And I started looking at it, just something that jumped out to me. I don't know what to make of it, but I know now in this league, it feels like, because you've seen teams like Pittsburgh in the early 2000s, the Chicago Blackhawks through the 2005 to maybe 8-9 years. It feels like to have longevity, you have to stink really bad and get lottery picks. And that might be true. I mean, you look at, the Edmonton Oilers and what it didn't always work like that, right? They finally started getting it going when they got Connor McDavid, but you can't just throw talent at a team and think you're going to get out of it. I still think there's a development process in there that Buffalo has severely lacked. And I just pulled their D-core, just to use as an example. And I don't even know what to make of it. But they have Rasmus Dahlin, Owen Powers, 0 American League games. And I'm not trying to say for 1 second that a first overall pick should automatically have to go play in the American Hockey League or whatever. So those guys, 0. Bowen Byram, who came up in another franchise, 2 American Hockey League games. What's his name? Yoki Karu, or however you say his name, or is it Yoki Karu? I always get the Hakanpää and him mixed up. It's Yoki Karu, I think.
Yes,
anyway,
Yoki Karu. Hakanpää's in Toronto.
Yes, Hakanpää's in Toronto. So Yoki Karu's got like, I want to say 40 American League games. There's another defenseman I'm missing in there. Samuelson's got like none, basically like just a handful. I guess my point is, the American Hockey League, when you talk to players who spent time there, at least a season there, something, the American Hockey League is so tough. it's such a grind of a game, and it challenges you mentally, and you've got to learn how to get a job done when it maybe isn't going to be done the way you're used to doing business. And you learn how to adapt. You learn how to do these things. I mean, I didn't even look at the forwards, but the forwards are going to be like that. They just haven't. The Buffalo Sabres are very clear. If you let them play an offensive game, they can score 11 goals. Like, they're that good. But if you make them for 1 second have to pay attention to details of their game, to grind out a game, to win puck battles in the corner, they're done. They're dead. They can't do it. And the fact that this team, they've added some veteran guys, but you can't add a veteran guy to change the culture of a team and play him limited minutes, because these kids that have been given, and I'll say this, of conversations I had from years ago in Edmonton there, when you give the keys to the city to young players, and once you start that ball rolling in that direction, it's very hard to have some sort of protege, some sort of person coming in here and showing you the ropes, a compass player, if they're not going to play with them in those minutes. So my point is, if you're going to get someone, a veteran guy, to show you how to play, what it means to play in the NHL, you got to play with those guys. You got to be top 6 minutes. Go overpay for a guy that's won before and play him in the top pair defensemen. You can't put him on the 4th line and expect those young players who have been given the keys to the city. They're not going to listen to him. Why do they need to listen to him? They've already got their $60 million contract. So I think that that's just an area that Buffalo has really struggled with, and they haven't created a good culture for their young players.
No, not at all. Mike Rupp joins us now. Rupper, you got some teams obviously at the bottom, but then there's some other teams that are playing quite well, and specifically one individual. Like, did Boston get rid of the wrong goalie? Lenus Allmark is killing it right now for Ottawa. He's got 2 shutouts. He's only allowed 5 goals in his last 6 starts. He's 6-0. Like, and the Sens are climbing, no surprise, climbing up the standings.
I'm a big Jeremy Swayman fan still, so I think both goalies were very good. But Lenus Allmark looks pretty good right now, and he looks like what they wanted when they got him. But I also think the play in front of him certainly been better. And Mike Kelly with Sportlogic brought up this numbers that have been incredible. Just that they have been horrific at times, the Ottawa Senators, and allowing rush chances against. And you think of rush chances, that could be mismanagement of the pucks in the offensive zone for your team. It could be forwards not supporting their D on pinches. I mean, there's a bunch of different things that could lead to it. Could just be neutral zone turnovers. Regardless, it's mismanagement of the pucks and sloppy play. They've been one of the league's worst in giving up those odd man rushes until this last stretch of games. It's changed, seems like overnight, and they're not giving those up. Rush chances are instant offense. I think Lenus Allmark's not seeing some of the things that he was seeing earlier in the season. The other goaltender has been seeing earlier in the season in Forsberg. They've gotten better in front of them. And I think that just shows Lenus Allmark, the type of goalie that he is and was in Boston. If you give him any kind of structure and predictability on what shots he's going to see, he's going to thrive. And he looks pretty good right now. The Ottawa Senators look pretty good. And we talked about a couple teams in the East. I think there's more teams than just the teams that we talked about that were struggling. Watch out for Ottawa, because if they start figuring this out and they start getting some sort of consistency in their game, I think they're going to be extremely tough out. Listen to this, come playoff time, because I think this team's got the ability to make the playoffs.
Ooh, wow. 8-2-1 in their last 11. And now that was game 1 of a 9-game road trip. That's kind of split. Well, not kind of. It is split up between the Christmas break, but it's still a lengthy time away. And if you keep winning, Rupper, then you love being on the road. That's kind of simple. You're like, hey, we're on the road, we're winning, everything's better. Especially for a team that I have to think is thirsty as hell for some continued success, right? Kachuk, Norris, Shabbat, go down the list of guys who've been there a long time that they've never really experienced it. They never really been that close the last 5 years to the playoffs. So I would think if all of a sudden, they wake up on Christmas morning, they're like, geez, we're in a playoff spot. Man, I've never been here. This. They're like the kids at Santa Claus, Rubber. They'll be running downstairs. Man, did I get a GT snow racer? This is unreal.
Yeah, I mean, because this is the point right now, is to have this type of run for them. in December, it's rare. Because if you remember, like the Ottawa Senators have been a team that has had over the last number of years, I'd probably throw Edmonton in that mix too. Really bad, like Novembers, right? Octobers, Novembers, but then turn it on in the second half. I mean, Ottawa goes on these absolute heaters late in the season the last few years. And I think that's been the problem is that you go into the offseason, you're like, I think we figured it out. Like, we just can't have a bad start like we had again. And then the next season starts again and you do the same thing all over. So the fact that they seem to be righting the ship in some regards in December, I think will bode really well because you get into the new year, they could be in a playoff spot. They could sit there and now you let that bleed into late January. And all of a sudden, this is newfound territory. Wait, we don't have to make up 12 points to get in the playoffs. We're in the playoffs right now. I'm interested to see what they do in a situation like that.
Out west, you have Winnipeg, Minnesota, Dallas, Vegas, LA, Edmonton that are top three, and then Vancouver's 37. Technically, the Flames are ahead of the Avalanche in points. Well, they're tied, but they technically win on points percentage because they played one less game. But I think most of us like Colorado more. Out of Calgary, Utah, St. Louis, do you see any of those teams really pushing any of the top eight?
I don't know if this is my heart going this direction because I've thought that this Coyotes team, obviously the Utah Hockey Club prior, I thought they have been on their way and been building in the right direction. Utah's playing a pretty good brand of hockey right now. They're a team, if one of those teams are going to crack the teams that we generally say are playoff teams, I kind of feel like it's going to be Utah. And I'm really curious to see how much help they maybe get. I mean, they've got some cap space. Bill Armstrong's got some options here. I mean, they have a ton of picks, ton of talent on that roster. I mean, at this point, I'm not waiting to see if they're in the mix come trade deadline time. I'd love to see them get a boost now. Give them a boost now, a culture guy that you can put in certain areas of your lineup to help kind of. I mean, this is a team that's got a lot of pieces, and they've been really dinged up. Their back end has been really, really banged up this year. So starting to get those guys back. I think you're getting Sean Dursey back here soon. John Marino. I mean, Utah's got a squad that I think can compete. Now, this is foreign land for them to continue to be kind of in the hunt. But we'll see if they could manage it. But if there's a team to break through and crack the top eight or the playoff spot in that West, I think it's Utah.
Okay. And they've had tons of injuries, man. If they're the one team, that would be a hell of an accomplishment considering they've had basically two of their top four D-men out for basically the entire season, right? Marino hasn't played and Dursey played 4 games. So that would be rather huge for sure. One last one for you, Rupper. We head into the 4-8, well, not into it. It's still 6-7 weeks away, but hey, I get that there's lots of good players, but I think the Zach Hyman not being named to Canada was the worst decision. Is there any other player you think was more deserving to be on their team, or do you think Hyman didn't deserve to be on the team?
It's tough because I think the way Edmonton's season went in as a group and as certain individuals, Zach Hyman being one, Evan Bouchard being another, I think that hurt him. I think that really, these are guys that I think had a great chance of being there, and the way that they were kind of, their season went, they fell on, I mean, some names and all these teams, some names are just going to be there. They're simply going to be there. And I think that's why you saw some, I mean, I know there was question marks, even with Team Sweden on Erik Karlsson, how bad he was already named. You could argue the way things are going for Brad Marchand. He was already named because certain guys, you just knew what they were and what they were going to be able to bring and all that stuff. And then there's the players who are getting there off of what they've done maybe in recent years. And then every team is going to have a handful of players. What have you done for me lately? Now. And it's also influenced the coaching staff. I think what I'm seeing from these teams, especially U.S. and Canada, I mean, so much influence is coming from that coaching staff. And so, I mean, John Cooper, it was big for me for Team Canada to have a guy like Hagel and a guy like Konechny. And I would put Zach Hyman right in that mix. but I think there's only enough room for players that are specialty type players that play in certain situations, provide certain things that maybe other players don't. And they went with the guys who are having the hotter season right now, even though they're kind of different players. But yeah, I mean, Zach Hyman certainly should or could be there. You could argue he should be there. I would probably agree with that, but I think his slow start to the season certainly hurt him.
Yeah, I guess to me, all that happened was he just didn't finish. His numbers and chances were there. He just didn't finish. And I'm like, and now you look at it, guess what? He's got the most goals of anybody since the team was announced, which doesn't surprise me. And then like I had people say, no, he's not quick. I looked up the guys who I thought you would replace. He wasn't replacing any of the first 5 forwards announced. Obviously, he's not replacing Mitch Marner, different type of player. And I didn't include Cirelli because he's a center. So I get why Cirelli's there. So I put on Stone, Konechny, Hagel, Jarvis, and Bennett. Guys who you thought, okay, they're in and out. I'm not disparaging any of the other ones, but Hyman has 100 goals over the last 2 seasons plus this one. The next closest is 77, and some guys are under 50. And then when I went to skating, top end speed, Hyman's number 1, 94th percentile. The most 22 miles an hour or higher, he has 8, the most of anybody, double than anybody else. And he also has the most 20 miles an hour bursts. So he's the best skater. He's got the most goals. Like for them to make a decision based on 19 games, to me, is lunacy. I just don't understand.
Yeah, I know. I mean, and you can argue that some of these things, I mean, you know what, someone we've seen in the past that's gotten on, and you could argue this is a reason why maybe Zach Hyman should have. Remember when Chris Kunitz got on the Olympic team and he played with Sidney Crosby in Pittsburgh? And that's an example of a player that did all the little intangibles. No one would probably have Chris Kunitz necessarily on that, but he did such great things and was reliable in certain areas of the ice. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's going to be, we know this is a tournament full of the best players in the world, and that's why we want to watch it. But at the end of the day, you got to score some ugly goals too. Is there enough guys that can score ugly goals on Team Canada? Because if not, Zach Hyman's going to be the first name that comes up that should have been on that roster.
Oh, 100%. Rupper, have yourself a great day. We will chat with you in the new year, because the next few Wednesdays we'll be off for Christmas and New Year's. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, my man.
Thank you. You as well, all the listeners. You guys have a great Christmas, Happy New Year, and we'll see you on the flip side here.
Yeah, you betcha, buddy. See you next year. There you go. That's Mike Rupp. Quick break. We'll return to the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. We got some bids in. We'll update you on that and more.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at Cantork.com.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
You don't know what awaits you on the road to come, but with the 2025 XC90 from Volvo of Edmonton, you'll have the versatility to take on whatever life throws at you. The new XC90, a luxurious SUV with seating for up to 7, boasts newly upgraded body and wheel design. It's the perfect choice to drive into the coming year. And right now, you'll save $4,500 and lease from 1.49% on all in-stock 2025 XC90s. Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, 1205 101 Street Southwest.
Get ready to make a game day decision with McDonald's Fan Day deals. Grab a $4 Big Mac, McChicken, or filet fish sandwich exclusively through the McDonald's app. Wow, what a deal. Plus, tax valid on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays for a limited time at participating restaurants in Alberta and Northwest Territories.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Now for today's holiday special, Legacy Heating and Cooling saves Christmas. Santa's furnace broke down in the shop last night, and the elves couldn't make any toys, that's right, because the HR lady said it's in humane conditions. But ho, 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 golly gee, Santa got a 1-year guarantee, and the elves are working merrily with a brand new furnace from Legacy. Happy holidays from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Employee pricing is on now at GMC. Get up to $10,104 off select 2024 Sierra 2500 AT4 models. Make loading easier than ever with the world's first 6-function multi-pro tailgate. Make hauling easier than ever with up to 14 available camera views, including transparent trailer view. And make finding tunes easier than ever with a class-leading 13.4-inch diagonal center touchscreen. Yeah, let's get to work. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Merry Christmas from Anu Gas Compression Consulting in Wetaskiwin. The management and staff would like to wish you a peaceful and happy holiday season. They thank you for your patronage this past year and look forward to seeing you again in 2025. Season's greetings from everyone at Anu Gas.
Yes, I'd like a double Schwab, please.
Excuse me?
And upsize the Schwabs. Can I get a diet Schwab with that?
Please pull around, sir.
It's get the truck out of here at Schwab's. Right now, get a 2024 GMC or Chevy 1500 Crew Cab loaded with extras for just $54,995, or a 2024 GMC 1500 Crew Cab Elevation starting at $56,900. Plus, save up to $17,000 on the Sierra Denali and Chevy High Country. Satisfy that craving at Schwab Chevrolet Buick GMC in Leduc.
McEwen's Fuels and Fertilizers hopes that this is your happiest holiday ever, full of good cheer, fellowship, and goodwill. Merry Christmas from all the staff at McEwen's Fuels and Fertilizers with 11 locations in central Alberta.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You really are a heel. You're as cuddly as a cactus. You're as...
Portions of this hour brought to you by UL. UL.ca is your power play partner with a new website that puts the power in your hands with 24/7 ordering and shipping within Edmonton and across Alberta. Score an account today at EWEL.ca.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$2.52. You know what? I never heard that line before. Termites in your smile. Wow. Termites in your smile. Like termites are just eating everything. Let's get to the bottom of that, man. Interesting. Hey guys, was that Tony the Tiger singing? The same voice? From G? I have no idea. Cons, look that up. It was a pretty deep voice, though. I can't even do it. I'm not going to try because I'll butcher it. So no, don't have the depth there.
Who said that? Who is the listener there?
G.
They nailed it. That is actually Tony the Tiger. I never put that together.
That was Tony the Tiger. So the voice of Tony the Tiger was singing there, Mr. Green. Who is it? What's his name?
Thurl Ravenscroft.
Oh, sick.
That's impressive.
That is very impressive. G, like, whew. Shout out, buddy. That is things we just learned on the show today. Anyone else know that? I didn't.
Nope.
Never once. What's his name? Yeah, you got to send me his name, Cons. Email it to me. That'll be fantastic.
Thurl. Also a big part of Disneyland, it looks like.
Ooh, okay.
Voice of a few rides, Pirates of the Caribbean, Splash Mountain.
Well, he's got a good set of pipes, man. He should be. So we're up now. Dale came in at 1,800, Dan at 2,000, and now Hot Salsa is in at 2,200 on our month of giving package. This is amazing package. This is one of the biggest donation packages we've ever had. If you're working just at straight, face value and what it would take to buy this in store. This is courtesy of Culligan. It's the water home filtration system, top of the line, comes with everything. The high efficiency smart water softener, complete with comes complete with the aqua sensor. Now this, you hook it up to your phone, you're going to see all the numbers. It's amazing. You also get the Culligan Aquasential Smart Reverse Osmosis System and the whole house chlorine removal. So this will be applied to any residents who got the Epcor Municipal Water Supply. Or if you're well water, they can adjust the package so the treatment system matches the well water characteristics of your home. So they'll come out, make sure that it's right for you. If you're in an acreage or at a farm and you're using well water. So the water softener removes the hard scale from the main water supply, which benefits your skin, your hair, your laundry, plumbing infrastructures. The reverse osmosis, this is great. It removes all of the dissolved solids, the organics, the heavy metals, the pharmaceuticals, the forever chemicals, the PFOA, the PFOSs from all your household drinking water. The chlorine removal filter provides whole house removal of chlorine and chloramines from the main supply to your home. So this is, you can read up on it and just how important this is and the long-term health benefits for you. It's amazing. So a huge package from Culligan, and Hot Salsa has it right now at $2,200, which is well below retail. But hey, we will get up. So if you like in, you can. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440 is where you can text us. Let's get to the oil report now, brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton. They are Canada's #1 Volvo dealership. And right now, XC90s or XC90 plug-in hybrids, you can get them on great deals. And you can save up to $10,000 on any 2024 demo vehicle right now at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. The orders had the day off. We will find out tomorrow. Does Victor Arvidsson make his return to the lineup? We'll see. Now, the head coach said, well, if we play him Thursday, that means he's going to play 3 games in 4 days. I guess he wouldn't have, could you play him Thursday, Sunday? And just, take off the Saturday game and not rush him back into all 3? Potentially. You might. We'll see. Arvidsson, of course, says, he has not played since November 12th. Long time for Arvidsson. He's only played 16 of the 31 games this year. So, he'll be itching to get back in. Then it would be a great discussion on who comes out. We did see Jeff Skinner skating with Ryan and Perry yesterday. Connor Brown's back up with Henrique and Janmark. Top 2 lines will remain the same. D pairs are the same as well. Zach Hyman, of course, good news there. You saw him come back in that game. He took that puck directly in the beak, and we saw it rather swollen. Probably won't be surprised if he's wearing the bubble for the game tomorrow night. Wouldn't be surprised at all by that. But Hyman has 7 goals in the 6 games since him coming back from injury. He's looked like the Zach Hyman before, which should really be no surprise to anybody who was watching closely. And if you're scouting, you say, hey, Zach Hyman just isn't scoring, but he's getting tons of chances. And when you score as much as he has for 3 years, guess what? Odds are eventually you're going to score. And boom, now Zach Hyman is scoring. And I expect that'll continue. He could add 4 goals last game. He had lots of good chances. So the Oilers will take on the Boston Bruins, who were victorious last night in Calgary in overtime. David Pasternak, who they've been hoping he would get off the schneid. So that's a big goal for him. We'll see if it jumpstarts it. Swayman has not had the, he did get the win last night, but, allowed 3 goals on 23 shots. It's been a struggle for him since he's come back, especially recently. Like, you look at his save percentage just by game and goals allowed. He allowed 3, then 1, then 8, 3. Had a run of 2 games back to back where he only allowed a goal, but he allowed 5. He's allowed 7. Like, it's kind of been feast or famine. So he's had games of he's allowed 20 goals in 3 games. And then the other games, what is that? 10, 14, 16 in the others, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So is it just, a few off nights for him? We'll see. But 16 goals against and 8, which is very good. But then you have 20 and 3, and that obviously puts you to 36 in 11 games, and that's not ideal. right, is over 3 against per game. So we'll see if he gets the start tomorrow night, or if Korpisalo will get back in the pipes. Korpisalo last played a week ago, last Thursday, so doesn't mean out that long. But as for the Oilers goaltending, now Pickard, if he plays tomorrow, then he's playing 2 out of 3 going into the break. And I know Skinner didn't have a great game last game. As the coach said, there was a lot of unpredictable plays in that game. But I'll be curious to see, if you look at it, based on the amount of games Pickard's played, it would look like Pickard's going to start tomorrow. But it is, do you have your starter play one of the final 3 games? That'll be the question. I know they're high on Pickard, but you look at rest and everything else. Could we see Skinner play Thursday, Sunday, and Skinner and Pickard play Saturday? We'll see. It'll be interesting. Najib comes in at 2,500 now on our auction item, courtesy of Colligan, and we are off and running. Let's get to the con man, a Sports 1440 update brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. The Canada-wide clearance is on now at GMC. You can get a $7,500 cash credit on a 2024 Sierra 1500 crew cab elevation. See all the details at gmcoffers.ca.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Tonight on the ice at the NHL level, you got the Flyers and Red Wings. Stars host the Leafs. Panthers take on the Wild. Utah hosting the Vancouver Canucks. And to wrap up, the Jets in Anaheim taking on the Ducks in the WHL. Just one game. PA down in Calgary taking on the Hitmen. That'll get going at 7. And the AG got Whitecourt and Lloyd also starting at 7. At 5 o'clock, PWHL action. Toronto Scepters in New York taking on the Sirens. Another week, another starting quarterback for the New York Giants, who plan to go with Drew Lock on Sunday when they take on the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons will be starting rookie Michael Penix Jr., who was named a starter yesterday over veteran Kirk Cousins. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Fred Fox, brother of Canadian legend Terry Fox, Oilers Nation's Tyler Yaremchuk, and Ask 5 Questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Checking off your gift list can go more smoothly when you give smoothies. From now till December 31st, buy a $30 Booster Juice gift card and gift yourself with any regular size smoothie for free. Try the new salted caramel smoothie made with vanilla oat beverage, vanilla frozen yogurt, and decadent caramel. It pairs magically with the salted caramel booster ball, bursting with Score toffee bites, cinnamon, maple syrup, cashew butter, and more. Happiest of holidays from Booster Juice. Download the Booster Rewards app today.
3, 2, 1. Happy New Year. Let's rock. Edmonton's biggest New Year's Eve party is at On the Rise.
Featuring Edmonton's #1 party band, the Barkhells. The Barkhells.
Get ready to dance the night away as we ring in 2025 in style at OTR.
Tickets include a 3-course meal, party favors, and bubbly at midnight.
This party sells out every year.
Oh, and if you don't have anyone to kiss at midnight, Marco is always available.
OTR's New Year's Eve party.
Tickets at ontherock.yeg.com.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
Noodle, 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 noodle. Noodle, 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 noodle,
Throw a load down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches. We provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact Ted Nakamura at 780-940-0880 or visit silentrides.ca.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Adventure just doesn't stumble into your life. It roars to life with Riverside Motorsports. Tearing up trails or cruising the open road. Yamaha ATVs, side-by-sides, motorcycles, and dirt bikes deliver the performance you crave. Built for thrills, ready for your next adventure. Yamaha's legendary performance and reliability take you there. Make Mother Nature your playground on a Yamaha from Riverside Motorsports. Located on St. Albert Trail. RideRiverside.com. Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
The 3 o'clock. And our texters are on fire today. We got lots of good text flying in. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440 in our well inbox. It is the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the lovely province. PlayAlberta.ca. Now you can use $5 up to $50, whatever you like. Use the promo code Gregor50 and you'll get a free $50 play at PlayAlberta.ca. And I mentioned $5 because it's very fitting as we get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by the Spruce Grove Saints. And every home game, did you know if you're not at the game and you want to support the team, they're 50/50s online. You go to Saints 50/50. That's Saints5050.com. And you can get in on the fun and support the team, Saints5050.com. And earlier this week, it was announced that one of the most and arguably the most inspirational Canadian of all time, Terry Fox, who, while he had cancer and while he was on had a prosthetic leg. He, obviously had a real leg, and then he had a prosthetic leg, and ran a marathon a day to raise awareness across the country at a time when there's no social media. When it first started out, it was him and his buddy. I watched this. They're in a van. Nowadays, man, they would have had this souped-up van, massage therapist, everything else. But back then, no. It was just two guys saying, you know what? We're going to get across the country, and then we're going to run back and raise awareness. And man, it sure built into something then. And I don't know if Terry and his family knew at that time just how big it would be this many years later, but the Terry Fox Foundation and just the Terry Fox run, it's outstanding. My young son he just turned 11, but he's been doing it every year at school. He knows more about Terry Fox than a lot of other Canadians. I'll tell you, other past Canadian people. And I think it's fantastic. And Fred Fox, of course, Terry's brother, joins us again as Terry got the huge honor. He's going to be on the $5 bill. Fred, that's a pretty big honor. You guys have had a lot of honors, but that's a pretty cool one.
Yeah, great to be with you, Jason. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a crazy week. We happened to meet, or I got a call from actually Chrystia Freeland on Wednesday last week to let us know that Terry would be on the $5 bill. The Prime Minister was in Port Coquitlam at Terry Fox High School in Port Coquitlam on Friday, and our family gathered together to meet him so he could personally tell us as well. And then on Monday, the announcement. It's something that's been in motion for 5 years, and the last couple of days, since everybody across Canada has known The phone has been blowing up with so many amazing texts and emails from so many Canadians that I've met over the years. It's a proud moment for not only our family, but all of Canada.
So it's been in the works for this long. And so how much say did you have, Fred, in which picture to use of Terry?
Yeah, you know what? We're not even there yet.
Okay.
I worked with the Bank of Canada representing the family for the last since 2019. COVID got in the way, everything got paused. But they used photos of Terry on the Bank of Canada website, so we approved that. But they haven't even designed the $5 bill yet, and that process will start. And then we'll be working with them over the next couple of years. I think it's going to take a few years before it's actually in circulation, and so we'll work with them on whatever the design is and whatever photo they use.
Okay. So it's still a few years away. Okay. Wow. I guess it's obviously it takes a while. You're making new money. A process like this, so when he gets put on, is there a minimum timeline automatically that he's on the bill for? Like, how does it work? I have no idea.
Yeah, that's a great question, and that's something that we're going to find out. Wilfrid Laurier is on the $5 bill right now, and I don't know how long he's been on it. So, I mean, it could be 20, 30, 50 years until, who knows? Maybe Wilfrid Laurier is getting moved to the $50 bill. Yes, so who knows? Maybe in a few years, Terry will move to something else. But all those questions we'll be finding out.
Okay. So that it's got to be exciting. And Fred, I know I've talked to you before, but like when you think about Terry and just how inspiring he is, and that's what to me I think that stands out most. He was an everyday average guy who was a really good athlete who got dealt a really crappy hand in that sense of getting cancer at such a young age, but then he did more with it, and just his ability to run that long and run daily, and what had to be, I would assume, a lot of pain, and prosthetics back in the 80s weren't what they are now, right? As far as comfort and everything else, like it's very rare. Like there's a lot of kids like my son kind of like, well, yeah, Dad, I've heard of Gretzky, and Wayne Gretzky's like a huge name, but he knows who Terry Fox is because of the Terry Fox run, and then it gets explained every year. Like it's amazing how his memory and legacy and what he stood for and what he achieved it goes across generation. Like it doesn't ever kind of get weeded out, and that's what's fantastic about it.
Yeah, it's amazing. I get a chance a couple times a year in the spring and the fall to make my way across the country. I visited around 130 schools in a year, and we had 10,000 schools registered across Canada this year for their own Terry Fox runs, and like your son, like you as a parent, I'm sure you've spoken about Terry. Grandparents, educators. That's one of the big reasons why Terry's legacy it continues today, because everybody keeps telling his story. Schools are involved, and I think Terry's story is one for all anybody at any age, about working hard, being determined, never giving up. Terry would say to you, Jason, that he wasn't a very good athlete. He was just an average athlete, but he had to work hard to achieve the things that he did, making the Simon Fraser University basketball team and all the things that he did, and overcoming, as you said, that pain that he had every single day that he ran. So I think he's been a great example for so many.
Yeah, 100%. So you mentioned like this is 5 years in the works. What kind of goes in to like I would like, I don't know, is there roadblocks? Like what kind of hoops do you have to jump through? What kind of bureaucracy is there to have something like this come to fruition?
There really wasn't any. I mean, Bank of Canada did this thing. They were going to redo the $5 bill. They put it out to all of Canadians. Canadians had the opportunity to nominate and submit their selection. I don't know how many people were nominated, but I think it was close to a couple hundred people. Right. They had a selection committee that got it down to 8 shortlisted individuals. And so that's where it was kind of left in 2020. And then everything got stalled because of COVID and other things that the government was dealing with. And then it was up to the finance minister at the time, Chrystia Freeland, to make the final decision. So, they did that last week and announced it this week.
Well, Fred, so you go through that process. Was it like, is there phase one? They start out with 100 and then it gets down. They tell, okay, you're into the final 10. And like, how does the nomination goes? You just nominate them? Is there like
that's how it worked. Like, people could submit to the Bank of Canada website who they would like to see on the $5 bill. And again, it was I probably shouldn't throw out the number. I'm not exactly sure how many, but it was a large number of people. And then, they had a selection committee that went through all the bios of all of those, and they got it to 8. So we weren't involved with that directly. That was in their hands. And then when they got down to the final 8, that's when we were contacted to offer up some photos of Terry so they could put photos of the final 8 on their Bank of Canada website.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. I look at this now and, it's always growing. Is there anything that's next? Like, how do you top this?
Well, that's the thing that our family is so amazed. I mean, we're coming into 2025, of course. It'll be the 45th anniversary of when Terry started his Marathon of Hope in April of 1980. And but here we are 45 years later. Who would have ever have known that people still want to recognize Terry in different ways? I'm working with a couple of communities in Ontario who are that Terry, ran through, and they want to put memorials there. They want to put a statue or something there. And here it is 45 years later, where our family is so proud that people still see Terry as somebody they want to recognize. And what's next? Who knows?
When it comes to the 50th, Fred, has there ever been talk of kind of bringing back the Marathon of Hope? And I don't know if one person themselves could do it, but maybe it's a collaborative effort. And, you have somebody runs 2 or 3 days and then somebody else runs 2 or 3 days and you do it across the whole country on the 50th anniversary. Is that doable?
I can see that potentially something like that could happen. Maybe the 50th, maybe in another anniversary year. One of the things that Terry said on that day when he had to stop in Thunder Bay on September 1st, 1980, that if there was any way he could get back out there and finish his run, he would. But he didn't want any single person to finish it for him, that only he could finish what he started. Okay. That's what our mom raised us believing that. You have to finish what you start. And Terry believed that. So I think, I don't think we'd ever want somebody to finish Terry's run, but I think doing a relay or something like that, involving other people across the country, I think it could be something that would work.
None of his nieces or nephews or family members have stepped up to say, hey, maybe I'll try it.
No, not yet. No.
Yeah, well,
but I will say, it's going to be a pretty amazing event. But to celebrate, to mark the 45th anniversary, there is going to be a ride, a cycling ride from Vancouver to Newfoundland this spring, and my brother Daryl is going to be a part of that. And then there's going to be, I think it's a dozen riders that are going to be riding from here to there and getting, I think it's 3-week to 4-week riding across the country and raising, of course, always raising money for cancer research.
They're going to do it in 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, these guys are obviously legit cyclists. Like that's, man, they got to have some good padding in the shorts to do that. Yeah. Oh my goodness. That's, but hey, if Terry was running marathons every day, then I'm sure there's people that can endure the soreness and everything else. It's fantastic. Well, Fred, thanks so much for joining us and giving an update. It's amazing. Congratulations to you and your family. I know you guys are immensely proud, but it is, when it was announced that the reaction was so positive from everyone. It's rare in today's times where everyone becomes agreeing on something. And Terry Fox being on the $5 bill was pretty much unanimous in agreement, and a lot of people are very happy about it. So I think it'll be a real big collector's item for a lot of people. They might have to print a few more because a lot of people will get them and be like, I just want to keep it because it's there's a lot of people
If you remember back in 2005, the 25th anniversary, they came out with the Looney and with Terry on it, Terry. So and that soon went out of circulation because that's exactly what people were doing was collecting them and keeping them.
Yeah, so I think that they might have to print a few more of this one. Fred, thanks so much, man, for your time. We appreciate it. Merry Christmas to you and yours, and all the best in 2025.
Merry Christmas to you, Jason. Thanks a lot.
There you go. There's Fred Fox, brother of Terry Fox, is going on the $5 bill, but still a few years away. I didn't know that about circulation, but imagine that. Like, there's that many people. I'm trying to think, like, to nominate someone, like, that's a big deal, obviously, to get, people thinking, hey, we'll put them on the bill. And, somebody obviously thinks very highly of you to nominate you for something like that. And it's hard to think of anybody better than Terry Fox. I'm sure there's other people very deserving. Don't get me wrong. But Terry Fox, very, very deserving of that. So that's fantastic. 320, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you, Sports 1440. Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. We'll take a quick break. We've got a few bids in here. I want to get to those and more when we return. We will also, we're going to talk some Oilers. We're going to talk the business of sport with Rich Winter come up. We talked about a little, this is like part 2 of our conversation last week. We were talking about some of the technical stuff. We'll kind of go in deep more and what's coming next and how it can change at the the NHL level specifically. That's where it should be, the business of sport. I don't know if it should be a business at minor hockey, to be honest. My own thoughts on that. I don't love it, but let's see. Quick break. Back on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Elevation models. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine. You can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
They are nice, tasting just so right. You can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle noodle.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
For half a century, that's 50 years, GS Construction has been building the foundation of Edmonton and the surrounding area's infrastructure. But let's make one thing clear. This milestone would never be achieved without the dedication of our incredible team. Together, we've built the underground infrastructure that keeps things running smoothly, from the existing to the new underground systems. It's 50 years of hard work the team has put in to make it all possible. Here's to another 50 years. For more on our team and our work, visit gsconstruction.ca.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
A mullet for Marvin, a bowl cut for Barry, a pompadour for Peter, who's now really quite hairy. After this Christmas, all the men wish they could get some hair restoration from Dr. Vance Elliott.
Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. While you're Christmas shopping, consider giving yourself the greatest gift of all, a full natural head of hair. I know the results will be life-changing. Want to make this the year you get your mojo back? Book a free first consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
When the snow hits, again, it's all hands on deck. Thankfully, you have Echo and the Lawnmower Hospital in your corner. Echo's backpack blowers, like the powerful Echo PB9010, can help remove snow from walkways, driveway sand, and more. And the Lawnmower Hospital has pet-safe, plant-safe ice melt to help ensure the job's done. Ice and snow don't stand a chance. LawnmowerHosp.com.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
Get ready to make a game day decision with McDonald's Fan Day deals. Grab a $4 Big Mac, McChicken, or filet-fish sandwich exclusively through the McDonald's app. Wow, what a deal. Plus, tax valid on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays for a limited time at participating restaurants in Alberta and Northwest Territories.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Better holidays start with better ingredients. Better pizza from Papa John's. Get 25% off any regular pizza with the code word BETTER25 at papajohns.ca.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.325. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. And we are up to $2,900 on our month of giving package today. This is one of the biggest packages we've ever had. This is an amazing donation from Culligan. It is a full home water filtration system. It comes with the Culligan high-efficiency smart water softener, complete with the Aqua Sensor. You adjust it on your phone. You see it all. So if there's ever any issues, boom, you call Culligan. They fix it, but it's rarely that happens. You also have the Culligan Aqua Essential smart reverse osmosis system. And you'll get the Culligan whole home chlorine removal. So now this is going to be applied to any residents on EPCOR municipal water supply, or if you're on well water, they will adjust the package so the treatment system matches the well water characteristics, because that's very crucial. The water softener removes hard scale from the main water supply, which benefits skin, hair, laundry, plumbing infrastructure. The reverse osmosis removes dissolved solids, organics, heavy metals, pharmaceuticals, and forever chemicals like PFOA and PFOS from household drinking water. And then the chlorine removal filter provides the whole house removal of chlorine and chloramines from the main supply to your home. So you get much better quality water, right? It's like the fuel you put in your body every day. It's going to be much better. You've read the science on this. I had a few friends who put it in their home about a year ago, and they said they've noticed a massive difference in, from drinking water to just, they feel, just how they feel. Also, when it comes to, hair and body and everything, the laundry and stuff, they swear by it, that it's a significant difference. So it's something that you've thought about. You want to get into your home, and Culligan will come in. They'll install everything. They'll work with you. Jonathan and his team, they'll do a fantastic job. So you're going to get an unbelievable deal. And right now it's $2,900. Like it is, we're not even at halfway to face value yet. So this is a bargain right now. 833-401-1440. Let's go in the room. Brought to you by Action Electrical. Building owners can earn a refundable federal tax rebate up to 30% on a solar project's capital. It's called the ITC. So if you want to find out more how to use it, how do you qualify, go to actionelectrical.net and they can help you out. As Tyler Yaremchuk from Oilers Nation and Daily Faceoff joins us. Ty, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Greg's. I'm good.
Do you have anybody in the police force in your family?
No, but did you hear I did a ride along with EPS last Friday?
No, I did not.
Yeah, they're going to be a new partner on Oilers Nation every day in the new year. So I went kind of like behind the scenes on how a check stop works. And I was like riding shotgun. I was looking up plates and stuff. And then the first guy we pulled over, I was like sitting there, and the officer I was with was like, "Come on, you're coming out with me." And I was like, "Oh man, I'm like really in the action here."
Really? I did a ride along 20 some years ago. And because I was thinking about getting into the police force. So one of my buddy had some connections. So he's like, hey, well, you can go try it. And like, dude, it was a legit one. Like I'm sitting in the vehicle and they got calls and they're speeding down here. I'm like, buckle up in the back, dude. It was, I'm like, all right, it was good, but it was not something that at the end I decided I didn't really want to go down that path. But I always have tons of respect. I got a lot of buddies who are either RCMP or city police, and I have the utmost respect for that gig. It is not for the faint of heart whatsoever. The traffic tickets usually are the easiest thing to deal with, other than maybe the people crying to try to get out of it.
Yeah, it was eye-opening for me. Like, even just again walking out there for like basic traffic stuff, going to a car, like you never know what's gonna happen when you walk up to that vehicle. So yeah, it was an eye-opener for me. It was a really cool experience.
Well, the reason I was asking is you should ask somebody about a polygraph, because I don't think 4 questions is really how a polygraph works. But just for those who know, maybe we'll see. I'd like to get into that. That might be the funniest tweet I've ever seen someone come back with. Oh, look, I got this polygraph. What? It's 4 questions. There's not even a warm-up question, a guideline to know what your heart rate's at. So that's why I found it quite common.
Very good.
Anywho, the Edmonton Oilers. I've been asking this question. So let's, for fun, say tomorrow Arvidsson's in the lineup. Which forward comes out?
Man, I've been having this debate so many times. I don't... Like, if you were to just look at the 12 players and ignore position, I think it's Derek Ryan that comes out, but you don't have anyone else really that can fill that void. I had people in my chat being like, well, Matthias Janmark's played center before. Why don't you put Janmark there? I don't know if I'm necessarily doing that. And he scored last game, so I have a hard time doing this, but I think it's Kasperi Kapanen, just because you're not disrupting any other part of your lineup. He's a guy you claimed on waivers. Yes, he's played good, but like Connor Brown has played good. I haven't hated Jeff Skinner's game as of late. So I'm also someone who says I don't think you should lose your job because of injury. So I think Arvidsson, just pop him right back where he was next to Draisaitl, and I would take Kapanen out.
Interesting. See,
I know it's hard, but
Kapanen scoring. I like his speed. Like Jeff Skinner's game against, like if you look at his underlying numbers in that game, wasn't on the ice for 1 shot attempt in the offensive zone. 0-14 on just shot attempts, and 0-7 in shots, and 0-9. He had a 0 expected goals. I don't think I've ever seen that. It was the fact that he got bumped out of the top 9 now, because Connor Brown's got goals in 3 straight games. So you know what? He's playing well. Like, I think it might be Skinner, but you're right about the center ice position for sure. I just don't think they have, like, I asked Matthias Janmark when was the last time he played center, and I think he said he played 1 game center in the NHL, but it's been a long time.
Yeah. So, and Jeff Skinner would make a lot of sense as well, just because, again, like part of my logic with Kapanen is like, okay, I don't want to take Connor Brown out because I like what he does on the penalty kill and all that. Yeah, maybe it is Jeff Skinner, but how long do you want a healthy scratch Jeff Skinner is the other side of it too. Like, which guy, and not that loyalty plays into it, but which guy has more value if you can get them going? It's Skinner over Kapanen, but in a 1-game vacuum, hey, maybe it's a good message to send to Jeff Skinner's like, hey, you weren't good enough last game, so you're coming out. And maybe that's a standard you want to set with this group.
Yeah, I'm watching Jeff Skinner, and I was one who said, hey, you know what? The potential's there. Great. I think I was wrong on Skinner. When I look at his style of play, he's not a forechecker, so he doesn't fit with Draisaitl. Draisaitl needs a forechecker who gets him the puck, and then he makes everything happen. And we're seeing that. Podkolzin might not get a ton of points. Like, there's been a few plays where Podkolzin led to the goal but doesn't get an assist on it, which is fine. He's big, physical, can skate. Skinner doesn't do that. He's not a forechecker. And the other thing is, Ty, in his own zone at times, woof, it is cover your eyes like a horror film. He is not the most reliable. He'll overhandle the puck. And I just, when he played with McDavid early in the year, he had a lot of giveaways. And so the last thing you want when you play with McDavid is give the puck away. So you might not make plays, but it's just like, find a way so we don't turn it over. And Nugent Hopkins, 3 weeks ago, Nugent Hopkins was really struggling. You're thinking, maybe there's a chance. He's got 6 goals in 12 games. There is 0 chance that he's coming out of there. So I don't see a fit, honestly, for Jeff Skinner. I don't, even like when everybody's healthy and Evander Kane comes back, he's another left winger. Like, I think I was wrong on Jeff Skinner and what he could fit in now that I see him on a day-to-day basis. I just don't think he fits on this team.
Well, that's kind of where I was going to go next was, okay, so right now, if we go down that line and it's Jeff Skinner as your 13th forward now that Arvidsson's back, like you said, if Evander Kane's back, let's say playoffs day one, if Jeff Skinner your 14th forward, and I know some people are sitting there going, look, you can't trade him because he has a no movement clause. I know he wants to play playoff hockey. That was a big part of his motivation in signing here. He's never done it in his career, but he also needs, I'm assuming he's 32 years old, wants to get another contract after this season. So if you were to go to Jeff Skinner, do you have to have the uncomfortable conversation of like, it's not working, we need to pull shoot here? And maybe he'll only say yes if he's going to another team that's in the playoffs. I don't know what playoff team would want to take a shot on him based on how his first 2 months in Edmonton have gone. But if you're at the point already, December 18th, and he is your 13th forward and you've tried him in different spots in the lineup, maybe you need to have a really uncomfortable conversation about his future here.
Yeah, like I know, hey, he signed here. He got the no movement clause. It's 1 year. Oh, great. I'm going to make the playoffs. And it just hasn't gone well for him. And he could fit on another team. But when you look at his career, he's put up a lot of goals, but put up a lot of goals on teams that weren't playoff teams. And maybe that's why, because you know what? They weren't good enough. And then when you get on a good team, he doesn't have the attributes you need. So, we'll see. It will be and the other, I guess, the one benefit of the situation is, I know he has no movement clause, but the GM who's now in charge didn't give him the no movement clause. And we all know that can make it a little bit easier for the GM not to, there's not as much of an emotional investment. He didn't sign the guy, so he doesn't necessarily feel like, oh, this is a mistake if we have to get rid of him.
Is there any part of you that, just looking at the guys he's played with this year, they were pretty loyal to the Victor Arvidsson, Leon Draisaitl duo when Arvidsson was healthy. They didn't really change it up all that much. Is there a part?
I think we just lost Ty there. We'll have to figure it out. Just went mute. Oh, is he back now?
Oh, there we go. I'm back. Is there any part of you that feels like, could Connor McDavid get something out of him if you just said, hey, we're going to staple you two together for 5 games and see if Skinner can learn, if McDavid can find a way to work with him? Like that 35 plus goal potential that I think Oilers fans, everyone was kind of like drooling at the idea of it when they signed him, and it's what made him such an intriguing option. Do you maybe just want to see if he can get comfortable there, and if in 5 games they can develop some chemistry? And I guess I'm just flipping a question on you, are those D-zone concerns? Is that just way too much to give him big minutes like that?
It's a really good question. I've thought about it. A few weeks ago when Nugent Hopkins wasn't scoring, I thought that was the time to try it. But now that he is, Nugent Hopkins has never been an overly productive 5-on-5 player. That's a fact. But he's pretty reliable defensively. He doesn't. He rarely makes the glaring error, right? Like he'll get the puck out. It doesn't mean it's always the best play, but it's the right play, if that makes any sense. And so I don't know, man. Like Chris Knobloch, the one thing he really seems to value in his players are guys who he can rely on, knowing that in crunch time, like that doesn't mean that hey, of course, every now and then Bouchard has a turnover, Draisaitl has a turnover. You get it. They touch the puck all the time, they're going to do it. But if you're like Skinner would have to score a lot to overlook the potential defensive weaknesses.
And maybe Chris Knobloch doesn't like doing this, so I'm not even thinking this is anywhere close to a possibility. But if Edmonton was ever in a spot where they started going 11-7 again, and you had like a Skinner Perry fourth line, that it was like, okay, you get ozone draws with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, and that's your 8 minutes. Like you get very, very select shifts, maybe, but I do think the Oilers need something a bit more reliable on their fourth line. The third line, there's been points I've liked Skinner and Henrique together, and I think they can actually give you a little bit of offense. I know Henrique is a little cold right now, but the idea of building a third line that is like a scoring line is actually somewhat tempting to me because, again, you can trust your top 6 in a lot of heavy matchups, and they can take on the other team's best. You don't need like a third line that's a pure shutdown line. But when you get to the fourth line, like I don't, Jeff Skinner and Derek Ryan and Corey Perry on the ice at the same time, that doesn't excite me very much. So yeah, maybe it is time that he watches for a bit. Maybe you give it one more go after the message of a healthy scratching and you see if he can click somewhere. But it is getting to an interesting point. Like I know it's only December, but we're getting close to the halfway point of the season where, again, tough conversations have to start happening. It's no more feeling it out. Okay, we have time. Like, you need to be peaking at the right time. And to me, that kind of starts at the halfway point. You need to start meaningfully building up some things.
Evan Bouchard and Matthias Ekholm have had like a pretty big funk here for a month for those two. If you look at the goals for and everything else over the last month, like Bouchard's been on for 12, Ekholm 11, Nurse been on for 2 at 5-on-5, and Nurse has played more minutes per game, right? Kulak's played more minutes overall, right? Like we've seen Paul Coffey adjust his minutes played because of it. I know everybody gets fired up about Bouchard. I get it. I think sometimes people struggle with multiple things can be happening at the same time. Evan Bouchard's a good player who's playing poorly. You don't just trade him. That doesn't make any sense to me. But it's fair for those who are like, oh, Bouchard's great. No, he's not great right now. And in a weird way, Tyler, this might benefit the Oilers long term because the season Bouchard is having is going to make it very difficult for him to command huge dollars. It's just now he'll still get big money. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think he's getting 7 figures at the rate he's going right now.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, in a perfect world, not that I think Bouchard and his agent would do this, but you sign him now or you sign him before the playoffs. Over the last couple of playoff runs, he's been unbelievable for the Oilers, but you go right now and you see if you can get him to an 8x8 or an 8x7.5 in a dream world. But I think Bouchard and his agent are obviously smart. They're not going to sign when his value is at its lowest. They're probably going to want to wait until after hopefully another long playoff run where Evan Bouchard leads defensemen in scoring and has a couple more game winners. Like he was so good in that last playoff run that I think like what you and Frank talked about it, everyone talked about it. He put himself into that $9.5 million, maybe even with the cap going up $10 million conversation. Like it was justified with how good he was in the postseason. And right now, I had someone tweeting me yesterday saying if he didn't have Matthias Ekholm with him, he'd be a third pairing defenseman. And I just think that is way too much of a reach to the other side. Has Evan Bouchard been poor to start the season? Absolutely. Not playing up to his standard whatsoever. Is there also a part of it that, and I mean, I think we see this a bit with McDavid and Draisaitl, as much as the public narrative has moved away from it over the last couple of years. The best players touch the puck a lot, and that means they're going to be prone to turnovers more than guys who get 12 minutes and aren't touching the puck as much because they don't have as much skill. So I think that's part of it with Bouchard. Part of it is, much like Darnell Nurse for the last calendar year before he's turned it around here, every single mistake you throw on Twitter or whatever, and all you hear, if you're sitting at the game, you hear people around you groaning and complaining because their brains are now wired to really, really notice those mistakes. But I still 1000% believe in Evan Bouchard. I think any conversation about are you a better team if you trade him for a different type of defenseman, I think is just an absolutely insane conversation to be having. I believe in the player. I would 1000% be comfortable going with an 8-year max term contract for him if he's open to it. And like I said, if there was no agent side of it, I'd be going to him right now and saying, sign the contract, let's get it done and put it behind us.
Who would you start in goal tomorrow, Skinner or Pickard? And who do you think will start?
That is a really good question. I kind of like the idea of just saying like, and I know Stuart Skinner just had an unbelievable run, and I don't mean this to be unfair to him, but Calvin Pickard was really good against Minnesota. I look at that and go, if you're playing better, you're going to get starts right now. Again, you want to peak at the right time. And maybe if this was game 70 and Skinner was coming off a bit of a rough one, I'd go, no. You need to try let him get right. But I don't know. I think I go to Pickard. He's playing better right now. And Skinner coming off a game where he was not that good. I have no problem going with a change. And I actually wouldn't be surprised if Chris Knobloch did that.
Yeah, it means then Pickard would play 2 out of 3 going into the break. I guess it's possible. He could do it. I'm looking. Skinner has started. I'm trying to think the last time he started 3 games in a row. And I go back to November 19th, 21st, and the 23rd against Ottawa. Minnesota, he lost, and then they came right back to him against the Rangers. And he was real. And the Minnesota game, it wasn't bad. The team wasn't great in front of him. And so, yeah, I wonder. I could see Skinner, especially because they just had a day off. So I'm going to go with Skinner tomorrow night. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's the benefit of, and I know people sometimes watch Calvin Pickard and go like, is he a good goalie? And again, 32-year-old kind of journeyman, maybe doesn't always inspire the most confidence into you. But since he's come to Edmonton, he's given you no reason to believe that he is not a qualified backup goalie. So when I say, hey, it's the benefit of having a good backup, I know some people are going to be like, they don't have a good backup. look at the numbers. I think they do. And I think having a good backup, again, it is a long season. You don't want to overwork Stuart Skinner at any point. I think this is an easy spot where Skinner's coming off a rough game. Go to Pickard, 2 or 3 heading into the break. Again, it's game 30, whatever. I'm okay with giving Skinner a bit of time off.
Ty, have a great night. We'll chat with you on the rundown tomorrow.
Sounds good. See you, Greg's.
There you go. That's Tyler Remchuk from Daily Faceoff and Oilers Nation. Najib is in at $3,000. So we are up to 3, getting closer to halfway to Face Valley, because this is an unbelievable water package from Culligan. We'll tell you exactly what it is, all the details to have your drinking water, your washing water, everything top of the line when we return on the Jason Gregor Show. Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook. We're helping out the Christmas Bureau. They're still huge demand. So you can get a great package and help tons of people, and it'll be a package that helps your family for a long time.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Elevation models. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine, you can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
Get ready to make a game day decision with McDonald's Fan Day deals. Grab a $4 Big Mac, McChicken, or filet fish sandwich exclusively through the McDonald's app. Wow, what a deal. Plus, tax valid on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays for a limited time at participating restaurants in Alberta and Northwest Territories.
At On the Rocks, everyone's on the nice list this December. Even you, Sierra. We saw you shaking your ass on the dance floor.
Until December 31st, purchase $100 worth of gift cards at OTR and get a bonus $20 GC for free.
That's like 10 free hot dogs on Mondays.
Or 10 free tacos on Taco Tuesday.
How about 30 free wings on Wednesdays?
Or even 4 free drinks during happy hour.
However you divide it up, it's $20 free at On the Rocks. Calm down, Sierra.
On the Rocks, Jasper Ave and 118. Hey, I know you're new here, but we carry multiple brands.
Okay. Hi there, this is Riverside Motorsports, Yamaha, Suzuki, KTM, Polaris, Gas, Husqvarna, Tibbersled, Stacy, Calaria, Climb, Thor, Alpine Stars, 509, Troy Lee Designs, and more. Sales, how can I help you?
Located on St. Albert Trail, rideriverside.com. Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
Get early access to the Bricks Boxing Week blowout. Shop real Boxing Day prices now with deals for every room of your home. Shop door crasher specials like a 3-piece stainless steel appliance package for just $18.97. Take up to $3,000 off big screen TVs, up to $2,000 off sectionals, and up to $750 off sofas. Plus, buy more, save more on dining and bedroom furniture. Up to 25% off. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
The holidays are here. Everyone at Bashaw Concrete Products encourages you to slow down. Revisit old holiday traditions and create happy new memories. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from Dallas, Doreen, and Dylan, and all the staff at Bashaw Concrete Products.
Employee pricing is on now at GMC. Get up to $10,104 off select 2024 Sierra 2500 AT4 models. Make loading easier than ever with the world's first 6-function multi-pro tailgate. Make hauling easier than ever with up to 14 available camera views, including transparent trailer view. And make finding tunes easier than ever with a class-leading 13.4-inch diagonal center touchscreen. Yeah, let's get to work. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Rolling through a lovely Wednesday afternoon. What a wintry Wednesday today. Whew, what were they saying? Like 10 centimeters, which is like 4 inches of snow today. I had a double shovel already before I left. Because, I'm kind of, this is the one thing, I'm pretty relaxed about a lot of things, but I'm very anal. I do not like driving on snow and packing it down on my driveway. So, I will get him when are you leaving? I got a shovel, and I'll be out there shoveling. And there'll be times I'll come home after a hockey game if it snowed, and I will park my car at the bottom of the driveway, open the garage, walk in and shovel it, and then drive in. Now, I might only shovel the half at that point, just enough so I can drive through. But I hate, because once you get the pack down, then it's a biatch to have to shovel it. I don't like the pack snow. So that's, there's very few things that I think I'm that on about, but shoveling is one of them. I don't like it. I don't like the pack snow. And then you try to shovel it afterwards, it becomes icy. It's just a gong show. So everybody has one of those things that you're kind of really anal retentive about. That's mine. Collins, you got to have some for sure.
Honestly, you know what? That is kind of one of them for me as well. I got it from my dad. You don't want to drive over the snow. You don't want to pack it down. You don't want the tracks.
Yeah.
There was one time we pulled up and, having the kid kind of forced our hand. I wanted to make sure we got him right into the garage before he was covered, but I went out there immediately and did my best to get it away. Like you, I only went out once this morning, but by the time I actually finished, got into the car, pulled out, the tracks remained. So I might have to go home and give that a little bit of a chip. But yeah, that's one for me that definitely kind of grinds my gears.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. Hey, boys, what's the package today? It is a great package from Culligan. We're helping out the Christmas Bureau. Now, we have today and then tomorrow for auction items, and then we have our Pyramid of Giving on Friday. So we only have 2 days left if you're because we have people, I'll see what else you have, which is awesome. Well, today, something we've never had. This is the first time in 14 years. I always try to get some new packages, and this is unbelievable, donated by Culligan. It's the high efficiency smart water softener. This is part of the home filtration system because it covers, this is like the Cadillac, the Prime. Okay. This is like a souped up 67 Chev, pristine, the best of the best when it comes to water systems in your home. So it's the high efficiency smart water softener. It also has the Equessential smart reverse osmosis system and the whole house chlorine removal. So it's all three. Sometimes, you might put in one. This is all of them. This is the grand poobah of them all. So any residence that has the EPCOR municipal water supply, no problem. It'll work. Now, if you are the winning bidder and you have well water, they will adjust the package so the treatment system matches your well water characteristics. Okay? It's all going to be the same. Don't worry. The value's great. It did just switch things because well water is obviously a little bit different than the city water. The water softener removes hard scale from the main water supply, which benefits your hair, your skin, your laundry. Hey, you're going to be looking good. You'll be feeling better. The reverse osmosis removes, dissolved solids, organics, heavy metals, pharmaceuticals, the forever chemicals from the household drinking water. And then the chlorine removal filter provides your whole home removal of chlorine and chloramines from the main supply to the house. So everything's going to be better. Drinking, eating, boiling, not cooking, washing machine, all of your dry washing machine, and it'll be fantastic. So it does everything in your home. And we now are up to 3,000 on this package. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 is the text line. And of course, just include your name and the amount that you would like to donate to the Christmas Bureau, which is awesome. Listening, I love this one from Jennifer. Hey, guys, listening. Termites, how'd I miss that all these years? Then, wow, who's singing? Gregor, you're reading our minds. But I digress. We missed that because looking at the Grinch takes the cake. We were talking about the song earlier. Did you know that You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch, is Tony the Tiger? Same guy who's singing that. That's what we learned earlier. Anyway, we missed that because looking at the Grinch takes the cake. The song never gets its full due. I'm female, so it's same as when I see Ron McLean talking, but Kevin Bieksa is in the shot. Oh, well, there you go. From Jennifer. All right. I can see that, right? Hey, eyes up here. Eyes up. Right? Everybody's got their little eye candy. Nothing wrong with that. Hey, guys, let's be honest. Bouchard is just a power play defenseman. The Oilers should look. You can get someone else for $4 or $5 million to do that. Well, here's the thing. Did you watch the playoffs last year? Do you notice who played the most minutes of any player? Evan Bouchard. Did you see his numbers? Did you see his play? The last 2 years in the playoffs, Evan Bouchard has been very good. He's much more competitive on a night-to-night basis in the playoffs. He's shown an ability to elevate his game. Is he struggling now? Yes, wholeheartedly he is. But that doesn't mean he's struggling doesn't suddenly remove all the good things a player does, and then you just resort to that, well, he's a power play guy, that's it. Like, that's not great analysis. Right? Evan Bouchard is struggling right now. And he struggles when he gets a little bit lackadaisical. And that's comes up in his game. Right? It might always come up in his game. Now, I do wonder if fans ever watch Cale Makar every game. I don't think Avs fans do. But go look. Cale Makar is good, but go look at Cale Makar's numbers. They're not like, Cale Makar will do some things that are like, oh my goodness, it's unreal. But then he'll do some things where you're like, right? Like I always bring it up when they won the cup. Go look at their third and fourth rounds, the two most important rounds. Cale Makar got outscored 12-6, 5-on-5. And they still won the cup because they were a really deep team. And Josh Manson played out of his mind in their other pairs. He was great. Right? Scored huge goals in the Stanley Cup final. Now, Makar is elite. I'm not saying Bouchard is Makar. He doesn't skate like him. But offensive-minded defensemen at times will have a stretch of games where they're going to frustrate you because their errors are normally going to come in the defensive zone. And right now, Bouchard isn't playing to the level he's capable of. It's totally valid. But that doesn't mean he's lost all of the skill that he showed for the last two playoff runs and all of last regular season. He's solid. He'll make a play that'll frustrate you every now and then. He'll go back a little nonchalant for the puck. But you can't take that play and then magnify it 20 times more than you would a good play. You just can't. Because what happens then is you make the wrong analysis and you trade a player and then you chase your tail trying to find that player for a long time. There's not many guys like Bouchard in the league. There just isn't. He'll frustrate you at times, sure. But when he's on his game, he's incredibly valuable. And when he's on his game, which he has been at the most crucial time the last few years in the playoffs and last year in the regular season, he's a very valuable part of your team. He just is. So I think you can't let your you can as a fan, it's no problem. You let your emotions, run it, and that's great. But I try to remove emotion when I'm analyzing a player. Doesn't happen all the time, I'll admit. I have a bias and there's certain players I like more. I can see how Bouchard can frustrate people at times. There's no question. But last game, let's be honest. He ain't toe picking ever again this season. He's not going to walk the blue line and just fall, right? It's not going to happen, right? And then you get he's a great right winger. Tyler, stop. It doesn't even make any sense, a comment like that. He's a great right winger. Doesn't make any sense. Because guess what? There's lots of right wingers who turn over the puck, right? Lots of them. He'll turn the puck over every now and then. It happens. I'll say this. If you're going to get that frustrated I always say, well, why do you continue to watch a player asking him to be what he isn't? Evan Bouchard is never going to be up for Defensive Player of the Year. Even though I know there isn't thing in hockey, you know what I'm talking about, right? That's not his forte. It's not why he was drafted 10th overall. That's not why he set the NHL record for most assists by a defenseman in one playoff year last year. It's not why he had 32 points in 26 games. That's not his strength. That's not his calling card. And when you ask players, can he evolve? Yeah. And I think he showed that in the playoffs last year at the most crucial times that he can be more than serviceable defensively. So you can get frustrated in the regular season, but at times, and that doesn't mean that Bouchard can just waltz through the regular season. Although I will say this, Oiler fans, Evan Bouchard struggling might help you when it comes to the contract negotiation because it probably lowers his AAV. The way he's playing this year, he's not getting $10 million because timing is everything. And we have Rich Winter coming up right now. And we're going to talk about that and how, as an agent, you can negotiate all you like. But the truth is, when you're a free agent or your contract's up as an RFA and you come off a career year, you have infinitely more leverage. You just do. So we'll talk about all of that and more. But I would just pump the brakes on that much anger towards Bouchard. It's unnecessary. And you're going to end up regretting it. Well, maybe not regretting it, but you'll be like, oh, geez. You'll tell all your friends, and your friends are going to be chirping you because you're like, that guy's brilliant. He's terrible. And then you know what? He plays like he does in the playoffs, and they're like, oh, geez, maybe he is pretty good. Quick break. Let's get to the Con Man Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. They ensure that 100% of their vehicles have properly aligned wheels. Wheel alignment extends the life of your tire, which lowers the carbon footprint of your vehicle, reduces emission, and lowers your fuel consumption. Read more about it at Fountain Tire's ESG initiatives on fountaintire.com.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
On the ice tonight in the NHL, you got the Red Wings, Flyers, Leafs travel to Dallas taking on the Stars, Wild host the Panthers, the Canucks in Utah, and the Jets taking on the Ducks. WHL level, just one game. PA taking on Calgary at 7. In the AJ White courts in Lloyd, that'll also get going at 7. And at 5 o'clock, you got PWHL action. The Toronto Steppers in New York taking on the Sirens. Puck drop at 5. Another week, another starting quarterback for the New York Giants, who plan to go with Drew Lock on Sunday when they take on the Falcons. The Falcons will start rookie quarterback Michael Penix Jr., who was named starter yesterday, taking over for veteran Kirk Cousins. Coming up in Hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, it is another edition of the Business of Sport with longtime NHL player agent Rich Winter. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Checking off your gift list can go more smoothly when you give smoothies.
It's time for the Business of Sport on the Jason Gregor Show
and gift yourself with any regular size smoothie for free. Try the new salted caramel smoothie made with vanilla oat beverage, vanilla frozen yogurt, and decadent caramel. It pairs magically with the salted caramel booster ball, bursting with score toffee bites, cinnamon, maple syrup, cashew butter, and more. Happiest of holidays from Booster Juice. Download the Booster Rewards app today.
Adventure just doesn't stumble into your life. It roars to life with Riverside Motorsports. Tearing up trails or cruising the open road. Yamaha ATVs, side-by-sides, motorcycles, and dirt bikes deliver the performance you crave. Built for thrills, ready for your next adventure. Yamaha's legendary performance and reliability take you there. Make Mother Nature your playground on a Yamaha from Riverside Motorsports. Located on St. Albert Trail. RideRiverside.com. Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
Get early access to the Bricks Boxing Week blowout. Shop real Boxing Day prices now with deals for every room of your home. Shop door crasher specials like a 3-piece stainless steel appliance package for just $18.97. Take up to $3,000 off big screen TVs, up to $2,000 off sectionals, and up to $750 off sofas. Plus, buy more, save more on dining and bedroom furniture, up to 25% off. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Elevation models. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine, you can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Get ready to make a game day decision with McDonald's Fan Day deals. Grab a $4 Big Mac, McChicken, or filet fish sandwich exclusively through the McDonald's app. Wow, what a deal. Plus, tax valid on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays for a limited time at participating restaurants in Alberta and Northwest Territories.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
The James Insurance Group, serving East Central Alberta, would like to wish you a happy and safe holiday. Enjoy your time with friends and family and take in all the season has to offer. Merry Christmas and a very happy New Year from the entire team at the James Insurance Group.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. The team in Old Strathcona has special training dedicated to reducing the impact of cancer care before, during, and after your diagnosis. From lymphedema to the management of fatigue and side effects of chemotherapy and radiation, they can help. Learn more at leadingedgephysio.com.
It's time for the business of sport on the Jason Gregor Show with longtime NHL player agent Rich Winter.
Rolling through. How are you, Jason Gregor? Connor Halley with you. And, of course, Rich Winter, longtime player agent, joins us in the business of sports here on Sports 1440. The Gregor Show is always presented by playalberta.ca. Use the promo code Gregor50, and you will get a free $50 play in the month of December at playalberta.ca. Now, I do want to, before we get to Rich, just quickly update you on our month of giving package, because this is an unreal water home filtration system from Culligan. It's the high efficiency smart water softener. Also the Culligan Aquasential Smart Reverse Osmosis System and the whole house chlorine removal. So basically the water softener removes all the hard scale from the main water supply, which benefits skin, hair, and laundry. The reverse osmosis removes dissolved solids, organics, heavy metals, pharmaceuticals, forever chemicals from the household drinking water. And then the chlorine removal filter provides your whole home removal of chlorine and chloramine. So it's fantastic. Now, whether you're in city and you're on the EPCOR water supply, or you have well water, if it's the well water, don't worry, they'll adjust the package so the treatment system matches you, because obviously anybody who's lived on the farm or being in the city, maybe visit the farm, you know that well water is a little bit different. So, and then not every well water is the same. So they will test it and adjust it so it works for yours. And right now it's at an absolute steal at $3,000. So let's get that up. We're helping out the Christmas Bureau, 833-401-1440. And as I speak, Mike comes in at $32.50. All right, there we go. As we welcome in Rich Winter. Rich, welcome back to the show, my man. How you doing?
Good. You?
Hey, I am all right. Now, I know we're going to continue our conversation from last week, but we just had the timing thing. You've been in tons of negotiations over the years, and whether it's a UFA or an RFA, the last year, right, like this, for anybody who's a pending UFA, pending RFA, the truth of the matter is that last year can really help you, or it can limit your raise somewhat. Like, and I'm using Bouchard as an example. He had 82-point season last year, then he killed it in the playoffs. And this year, he's not having a terrible year offensively, but defensively, he's struggling more for sure. And all the numbers underlying it will show that. So how much does it impact? Like, is it 10%? Is it 20%? Can you put even a number figure on how much that last year can matter positively or negatively for an NHL player?
Won't matter much in UFA, because UFA is not determined by, entirely by performance. It's determined by supply and demand.
Okay.
If there's one defenseman of of his caliber out there, and there's 6 teams chasing you, you're going to get overpaid. But ultimately, as a restricted free agent, you're going to arbitration, and they really what they do is they filter out comparable defensemen based on games played, being experienced, and they look at minutes played, and then you get into a sort that includes players that are similar to you, playing about the same amount of time, getting about the same amount of points. But then you'll look at a 2-year window and a 1-year window, and the arbitration decisions over the years have consistently said, for obvious reasons, the last year is the most important year in terms of comparables. So you've got a guy that 2 years looks very much like, bad example, but Bobby Orr, and then all of a sudden he drops down, and that's on the 1-year look, he's 70% of Bobby Orr. It's going to be really tough to, and so to me, it's going to be based a little bit on the percentage difference, not so much in his drop, but the percentage difference the drop creates compared to comparables that had a very good last year, but maybe have a really good, similar point production over 2 or 3 years.
And so then when you look at comparables, do you have to find a comparable that's signed within the last year or two? Or is it somebody who, well, his numbers are the same and this guy was signed 3 years ago at 7.8, but now the cap's way higher? Does that matter, or is it more recent comparables?
It depends on the sort, because what happens is it depends on how many players you get in your sort. So what you do initially is like I say, you filter out by games played, which is experience, because you can't compare a guy with similar production over 50 or a full season compared to 5 seasons. So you filter that out. You look at point production and ice time, then you look at special team play where they compare. Now you might get a sort of 2 players, and one of those players signed 3 years ago, and one of those players signed last year. That's a bit of a dilemma. Now you'll play with the sort a little bit, maybe go a little broader on your search in terms of games played. You might end up with 4. Well, in that case, if there's 2 old contracts and 2 new contracts, the old contract might come into play more. But generally what will happen is you'll be looking for a sort that gives you a broader range, more new contracts than you, because they're more relevant. But the other thing, it's a game in arbitration. Like we do a sort because we want to just, maybe we'll expand the games played search because we get that guy at 9. So, but the arbitrators aren't, they're experienced. So it has to make sense. So what usually happens is the team will do a sort. Their sort will try slightly to get rid of that big guy, right? While our sort's trying to include him, their sort's trying to add maybe 2 guys at the bottom of it all. And then what usually the arbitrator does is he will spend put a lot of value on the common sorts, right? Or the common players. So I've got 6 players in my sort. There's that guy at the upper end. Yeah, we're maybe stretching a little bit, but we tried really hard. And in other cases, they'll look at it. So you got 3 players that are similar. Mm-hmm. They picked 3 guys, some of the 3 guys that we picked. You'll give a lot of weight to that. I can tell you one time we were in arbitration, though, we took a really gutsy call because we just thought this one player looked so much like one particular player. And the other team, Kenny Holland, our buddy Kenny Holland, first time he ever went to arbitration.
Can you say who the player was?
Thomas Tatar. Okay. And so we just made the call that we're going to focus on this guy. And they were scrambling all over with 5 or 6 guys. And it just was, it's a gutsy call to make a targeted, attack like that. But we picked that guy, and it was a strange situation actually, because Kenny and I settled a 4-year deal, and we sent it off to the PA. Now, if you don't get a deal settled by the time the arbitrator renders a decision, too bad, you're done.
You're done. So
I'm telling Kenny, I know this guy has done a similar types of cases twice in the last 2 years. So he's really up on wingers and, the whole parameters. And he also has an arbitration 2 days from now. He's not going home. You know what he's doing on the day between his 2 arbitrations? He's writing a Tatar decision. Right. So if you want a 4-year deal, we better get going. So we get the deal done. We send it to the PA. We were 3 minutes ahead of when the arbitrator sent his decision. Of course, he sent it. We hadn't received it. So deal stood, but it was the first time we ever got to see the arbitrator's decision.
What was his decision?
Was $100,000 off the $4.2 million we asked for. They had offered like 3.1, and I still remember.
What did you agree with too? What was the deal? Did you get?
We got 4.5 for 4.
4.5. Okay.
So, and that worked out well for Ken because that 4-year deal gave Thomas enough term that the Vegas Golden Knights traded for him they gave up a first, a second, and a third. So
Right.
Kenny would have got none of that if he wouldn't have signed the long-term deal. But the funny thing is, like, we never get to see the arbitration decision. If we file our paperwork, say we got a deal, the arbitrators just phoned and told to shut her down. But we actually got to see it, and it was so. I still remember. It's funny because I like to take the players and the general manager out for dinner the night before. It just kind of breaks down the animosity, right? Like, we're all pretty good. We're all friends, and so I took, and we always have a bet. Always have a bet with the player. Tell me how long it takes. Do you think will take by the time we sit down for the GM to start talking about the deal? Because we never do. And it was funny. Kenny likes to talk, so he just couldn't help himself. What do you guys think? I said, well, I think we want what we asked for. And we just had a nice dinner, and I always encourage the player to pay. So, he's just, just feels very friendly and stuff. But I remember at the end of that particular arbitration, I asked where Ryan Martin, the assistant GM, was, because I wanted to start the discussions to the long-term deal, which is what we all really wanted. And Kenny said, probably he's in the washroom crying or something. I don't know what happens. Like, we got beat like 50-0, and you guys killed us, man. I don't think Ryan will ever recover. So it was just an interesting time because Ken didn't know what to do because he'd never been to arbitration. It's arbitration 50 for me, and Kenny's, is always willing to give that little bit extra, right? He's not a real, he's a shrewd negotiator, but he's always willing just to, give a little bit. And that wasn't the case here.
Now in the arbitration, because, we've heard some cases that, maybe it gets really hard, and they attack a player in the arbitration on it. And I don't know if that's as much now. There doesn't, well, first of all, there's not as many people that go to arbitration even lately than they used to. But as an agent, why is the benefit of the player being in the room? Like, why doesn't the agent just say, Bob, you just stay in the hallway. You don't need to listen to this because you might never forget about it. Because most of us as human beings, the minute someone says something like, you know what, Rich, I think you look fat in those pants. Right. And all of a sudden you're walking, you look fat. Bob said I look fat in pants. And a year later, oh, there's Bob. He said I look fat in pants once. Right. You know what I mean? Like, so what's the benefit of having the player in there if you could just say it in maybe a lesser term? Is there a benefit to having him there, do you think?
100%.
Okay.
It's for one reason only. The arbitrator gets to look him in the eye. The kid gets to pay attention.
Okay.
And the arbitrator gets a chance to get to know him. He walks in the room. He gets to talk to the arbitrator. The arbitrators have some hockey interest.
So you can play a little, the mental mind game with the arbitrator, do you think?
I don't think so.
Can you sway them at all with the personality of your player?
I mean, you never know for sure, but ultimately, I don't think so. These guys are experienced professional arbitrators, but look, it doesn't hurt, right? And but if the player's not there, the arbitrator gets that feeling like this looks like the biggest guy this deal's player is ever going to have. Certainly has had, and he doesn't care enough to show up. It's just not a good look, right?
Yeah. It's that's totally valid. So I was just.
And sometimes it's valid with Jason. Like, I remember Mike Comrie, because when we did the arbitration with Phoenix, Mike Barnett, good friend of not only Mike, myself, Bill Comrie. So we're all in arbitration, and Mike's a pretty capable guy, and it's not always that you do something like this. But I said, I'm pretty sure, Mike, when Barney sits down at the table, looks across from you, he's not going to want to arbitrate with Billy's son. He really is not going to want to.
All right.
So we knew if we go to arbitrate, at least we felt that if we went to arbitration, that Mike would compromise, whether he'd collapse or not, he'd compromise. So we had a prearranged understanding, Mike and I, that if Barney wanted to talk, I'd stay at the table, sit down, let them go talk.
Now, did you ever have a case where you went to the arbitration, they got the ruling, and then the GM walked away from it?
They can't. No, they can actually.
Yeah, they can. Yeah.
One most interesting one was, it was a nightmare. Marty Straka had a terrible season, got bought out in Florida, finished it up after, signed with Pittsburgh and was the fourth leading scorer in the year in the NHL that year. And he was looking at a 4-year deal at $16 million total. So 4 times 4. Bob Goodenow came in the room the day, said, "Oh, you don't take that. It's just unique. You can get way more than that." Well, the arbitrator gave him 3.2, 3.4 over 2 years. Now, at that time, even after you got your award, you could renegotiate. I think we caused the change in the rules, because I went back to the 4.2 to Craig Patrick, who's a pretty good guy. And in the arbitration, their lawyer said, Marty Strack has no character. He's this, that, and the other, no leadership.
Thanks.
And I'm like, And I phoned Craig and I said, I'm going to take that arbitration provision. I'm going to fly into Pittsburgh and I'm going to show the reporters at a press conference what Marty Straka's decision was based on. You know, he's none of these things. You know, your lawyer lied, right? And Craig just, Marty's such a great guy. Craig just said, you know what? Would you be happy with what I offered the night before? I said, yeah. We had 3.2, 3.4. I think 16 looks pretty good. But to Craig's credit, he recognized his lawyer pushed the envelope. They're not doing that as much anymore, because.
But wasn't Craig in the room with him?
Yeah.
Okay.
But, he's not sure what the lawyer, a lawyer gets up an oral argument. He could say, who knows what he's going to say. And in that case, it was just, it was just a guy, Craig Patrick, being a really good guy and recognizing it's not fair that Marty Straka gets saddled with a decision based on a whole pack of misrepresentations.
When you look at that Bob Goodenow coming in the room and saying you can get more like this, and so that's a great question because people always wonder: is there pressure? Oh, they're going to be pressure from the PA. You can't take this contract because if you settle for this, then it's going to hurt everybody else. I'm like, well, I see some guys get good like team-friendly deals, and then other guys hit home runs and get grossly overpaid. Like, is there that much internal pressure to, quote, not take a deal?
That's the only time I've seen it. But they do, we do have discussions and understanding that, a lot of players have benefited by other players standing up and pushing the envelope. So there is a discussion about it. And, in terms of trying to prevent, reducing the marketplace or, having an impact on the marketplace because we're all in it as a group, right? So, it's not so much pressure as, are you sure? Or what we'll do sometimes is we'll have strategy discussions where we know player B that I may represent, he's willing to take a little less because he really loves playing in Florida, let's say. So what we do is we will make sure that if that's the case and we think there's a risk, see, what happens in arbitration is they have a pecking order. So like there's 10 guys going to arbitration. They start drawing out of the hat and determine so the PA gets to pick, they'll put Jason Gregor first because we like his chances of getting a better deal, maybe leading the marketplace. Now we know, like a couple of cases I wanted to go first because I thought we had a really good case. And other times you want to go second because Gregor's got a really good case. You want to follow up on that. But sometimes what will happen is, the PA's involved in discussions. They say, look, Bob here, he's happy. Like he's going to take. So they'll say, okay, so they don't have complete control, but they'll do everything they can. He'll be their last pick, right? Knowing that he won't affect the marketplace. So there's lots of.
So does it? So I'm sorry to interrupt. When you have that, so let's say there's 25 guys who filed for arbitration. Does it rotate like the PA gets to pick the first guy to go and then the NHL picks the next guy?
Coin flip. Super Bowl.
Oh, each time?
No, it's no coin flip to decide who goes first each year.
Oh, okay. And then so PA picks one, then the NHL picks one. Then okay, I never knew that.
So there's a lot of there's a lot of strategy involved, and and they'll call you. Do you mind going first? And they'll sort of peg you for that. We're thinking it. So there's just a lot of, and it does have an impact. So because ultimately, you got a guy we know the statistical underpinnings of better decisions. So you put a guy that we all like in terms of leading the pack. And it does have an impact. At the end of the day, that could play back on 5 or 6 guys. Because the minute somebody goes and there's 4 comparables, now the GMs are going, deals get done, right?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Rich Winter joins us here on the Business of Sports. So there, we got a lot to discover. That was nice because that wasn't the plan, but we'll get back on track next. Also, we are up to $3,500 now on our monthly giving package from Culligan, the water system. It's unbelievable. It is top of the line water system. We'll update you on that. We're helping out the Christmas Bureau. 833-401-1440 833-401-1440. It's the Gregor Show with Rich Renner, Connor Halley, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab elevation models. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine. You can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing.
Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Get ready to make a game day decision with McDonald's Fan Day deals. Grab a $4 Big Mac, McChicken, or filet-fish sandwich exclusively through the McDonald's app. Wow, what a deal. Plus, tax valid on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays for a limited time at participating restaurants in Alberta and Northwest Territories.
For years now, we've been warning Edmontonians on the hazards of our stormwater facilities. While they may appear to look like still ponds, there is moving water beneath the surface, which makes the ice dangerously... The unpredictability of stormwater facilities makes them treacherously unsafe for all winter activities, even walking. So think twice. Don't go on the ice. A safety message from EPCOR.
Is it Riverside Motorsports? No. It's Riverside Motorsports. Over 55 years in business, and people still get it wrong. Guess it's time to get it right.
Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada, with sports and entertainment properties including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility, is open in Miscue, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area.
The wrapping paper is coming off, the gift box is opening, and the crowd goes wild.
When they want sports in their stocking, you'll find gifts that score big at St. Albert's Source for Sports. From jerseys and accessories to all kinds of skates and everything hockey, it's here, alongside expert advice from pros who know sports. Put the best sports brands under the tree for less with St. Albert's Source for Sports, your source for hockey and the best sports gifts for over 35 years.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Watch every Oilers game at OTR with $5.25 Molson Canadian, $5 Pink Whitney shots, and 60-cent wings. Plus, play Oilers score and win for your chance to win On the Rocks gift cards. Oilers hockey at OTR. Book your table today. Jasper Ave and 118th.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Darren comes in at 3,600 as we continue to climb for the month of giving, courtesy of Colligan. Man, this water package is unreal. If you're building a home and you got a new home and you just want to upgrade your whole water system, because you think about it, it's like the fuel you put in your vehicle. You want the best fuel? Well, you're going to have the best water from Colligan with the high-efficiency smart water softener, the smart reverse osmosis system, and the whole house chlorine removal. The reverse osmosis gets rid of all the dissolved solids and organics and heavy metals and basically all the junk that seeps into our water now, right? Now, Rich, we've talked about, in sports and how it's changed. Like the nutritional value is so key now. Like they've done studies that apples that our kids eat today are like 6 times less nutrition than the apples that we had.
Well, it's a huge problem.
Right. And so like stuff like this makes a big difference. If, to fine-tuned athletes, like the line is so thin between NHL and AHL players. right? Like for the excluding the top 5%, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? Like there's like, look at Adam Gaudette this year. Adam Gaudette is a prime example of it, getting an opportunity in Ottawa, and he's already got 13 goals.
Yeah.
Right. And so there's a guy that was in the minors for 4 or 5 years, and you get a break and you get an opportunity, maybe more than a break, and away you go. Now, I want to get into, because we talked about this last week, and I want to get into more of the tech side because we didn't have time. And there's this new technology that's out there that combines AI and the quantum sensors that talks about to be more accurate in predicting injuries and to prevent them. So likely keeping players playing at elite levels longer. Can they predict injuries? Like, are they seeing, okay, well, you know what, we're seeing a little bit of more wear and tear in a knee, or how are they predicting? What's it based on?
Well, first off, I'll preface my my comments by saying, Elon Musk said, and I believe it to be true, there's only going to be 2 types of businesses in the future: businesses that embrace and adopt AI, and businesses that go bankrupt. And what we see, of course, in hockey, the level of innovation or embracing of innovation is non-existent. So the team that actually looks at these kinds of things is going to have a huge setup. There's ways of applying it in the draft and improving results. But here, what happens is, so there's this new technology called AQ. It's really a combination of artificial intelligence and quantum physics. And quantum physics is the analysis of things at a cellular level, at the smallest element. So you're looking at it at a molecular and atomic level. So they will be able to sense things that they'll see modest movements in molecules within the muscle fibers of your left leg, which will be a precursor to an injury that might happen 5 or 6 games before, following that, identifying that, because what it's going to do is identify things long before. So we're not looking for wear and tear, but you can imagine, it makes sense. Before that hamstring pulls, there's likely something happening at a very microcellular level that's going to identify that. And I'll give you an example of why this is important. We all know of guys girls who are healthy as can be.
Yeah.
Finish their physical, work out every day, drop dead of a heart attack, and run. Makes no sense. Except it does make sense when you understand the electrocardiograms we're using. We've all of us older folks have had that. They stick the thing on your chest, put in a little conducting jelly, and then throw some electronics through your chest into your heart. But that very archaic device can't pick up the small pieces of plaque that end up killing you on the run 4 or 5 days later. These quantum sensors will be able to pick up plaque in your arteries of your heart that is the size of the tip of a pin. So, and where this all became a problem is the sensors are very, very sensitive. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
But it's also a bad thing, because when they first started testing this at the University of San Francisco Hospital, they were because what the sensors are measuring is the magnetic field around the things they're measuring. So there's a magnetic field around everything, right? So your heart, because it's a different shape, it's not emitting consistent electronic fields. It varies based on the variance of the heart muscle and the arteries and things. So it's able to, but it's so sensitive, the measurements they're looking for, that when they first started testing it, they're getting magnetic interference from the elevator and the cell phones. So they had to, and it's just recently, you can look it up. Sandbox AQ is the leader in this technology. And what they had to do is they had to bring AI in, create algorithms that would allow them to filter out the noise and focus on the magnetic field and the signals coming from your heart. It's the same principle that they'll be able to, and it's hard for us to understand. They're looking for subtle shifts in the molecules in your muscles. They're not looking for it after it rips. You can only imagine that. I mean, you can't deal with a catastrophic, fall into the goalpost, which rips it, is an immediate event. But what they're going to be able to do, and you think about teams that are able to do this, look at all the injury games missed. If at the end of the day, a single team adopts this kind of technology and can eliminate 50, 60, 100 games missed due to injury, salary cap implications, keeping players healthy. And at the other end, look, when you're an NHL team, it's a very simple game. They give you 7 tokens every year to buy stuff.
Right.
First thing you want to do is buy undervalued assets. You want Kirill Kaprizov in the 7th round if you can get him. So AI can help you do that better, filtering information, collecting more information your scouts could ever collect. But once you have them, you want to develop them.
Yeah. Well, that's
a whole
the key.
other business.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is you want to keep them healthy, playing at a high level longer than. And there's a lot of these technologies are developing that at this point, we think if teams adopt some of the technologies that we're investigating and playing a bit of a role in, that they're going to have their elite players, all players, but most importantly, the elite players play at the same level for 5 to 10 years longer.
I think we're already seeing that, right? Like
we're getting closer.
Like
right?
you look at LeBron James, Tom Brady, in other sports, well, Nick Lidstrom even recently, like we're seeing players like Gretzky obviously was elite right until near the end. And, he had 62 points, which was still, I think, 13th or 14th that year. But his second last year, he's a top 5 player in the league.
Well, it's funny because I was talking to Marion Hossa this afternoon and we were just talking about it because he said somebody was watching Kaner play, which is the last player from their Stanley Cup teams playing. And they said, thought he was slowing up a little bit. Maybe it's because of his hip or whatnot. And Marion and I were talking because Marion had to quit because of that skin condition that he had. And we were just talking. I said, but he's just the type of player that seemed to be like a train on the tracks that's just sat there like a cloud. Like it just didn't, he was so efficient. And he said, it's too bad because, everybody laughed when he signed that 14-year deal to take him to 41. But he was saying, probably could have done it. Like he could have played that at that level. So yeah, we've seen it. I have Mark Giordano sitting at home, skating 3 times a week. He was second in basically every single 5-on-5 metric, second only to Morgan Riley and the Leafs. He can still play, but he's 41. So we'll see how it goes.
Do you see teams signing him before the deadline because there's always the need for defensemen on your team come playoff time?
Yeah, well, and Gio's attitude is this is just a long summer. He's skating and working out. He feels better than he has probably in 5 years because every little nick he had is now long gone. But yeah, so I think it makes sense. And I said to him, we talked this morning, and I said, Gio, so what if someone signs you in February? Right? And he just said, that's you give me a week, I'll be ready. I'm skating 3 times a week. I'm working out every day, skating with Sam Gagner. You still need a week just to get on the ice, get skating a couple of AHL games, I'll be ready. And somebody signs him in February, he wins a Stanley Cup. Who cares if he started in October or in February? So he's kind of holding out hope that there'll be an opportunity to participate in a team and do that. So, but there's a guy that's 41 years of age, right? Still ready to go. Chelio, Chris.
He played to what, 46?
48, I think it was. And the only commitment he made to Gordie Howe is he promised he wouldn't play till 50. I don't think he told the truth, but because if he was someone still wanted him at 53, Chelly would have still been out there.
Yeah. Rich Winter joins us, the business of sports. And, going back to the whole, the dynamic with the, for an organization, because not every organization jumps on things at the same time. Everybody has a different philosophy in scouting. They're going to have a different philosophy in nutrition. They're going to have a different philosophy in lots of different elements of their game, right? Like just because you have 32 teams doesn't mean everybody does. It's just no different than, not every radio station, everybody's different. So, do you find when you talk to organizations, is it noticeable to you, which ones that are more willing to evolve and change? And if so, does that impact your decisions with your clients on who to sign with?
Not as much influence our clients because that's more positionally and money, and there's other things involved. We talked about it in previous discussions where sometimes it's just the wife doesn't want to live in Winnipeg, right? So there's other factors that come into play. But yeah, there are some noticeably different, and I think but they're noticeably different compared to their peers, but they're dramatically different than the leading tech companies in the world and what they're doing. It's just really surprising how little that we pay attention to the new elements that are coming, because it's funny when teams have spent to the cap, during that period of time, they're throwing nickels around like they're nickels, or they're throwing millions around like they're nickels. If when it comes to spending off the ice, they're throwing nickels around like they're manhole covers. They have tight budgets. So they're really slow to adapt to those kind of things. But I think it might surprise people that probably the most consistently innovative young man is 81-year-old Lou Lamoriello.
Yeah.
Like he's 81 going on 21. Like
really,
he's looking at technology.
But that whole organization it's like every year they run out the same players.
Yeah, I think Lou's issue in my mind is, or what Lou's struggle is, he's a very loyal guy, right? So I think sometimes, and that's an issue. And I don't know if I don't want to say the game's passed him by, because Lou is a very, very smart guy. But I was talking to a tech firm the other day, and their first customer, Lou, and I've heard that many, many times before. I've been in his office, and if you see the technology he has on the board behind him, it's really interesting that he will use any tool that he thinks gives him a chance to win. But it's very, very rare in this business. Well, we call it the immune responses, right? Like, well, it's too expensive. I don't know. I'm just new here. I don't know if I want to go to the owner and ask for, $3 million to do this. Well, I don't know if it'll work. And these guys, and we don't have really very experienced business people in the hockey operations departments, in terms of, they know hockey better than I ever will, but they just don't really think in a big picture. And so it leaves the opening for one team to go, you know what? I'm going to give the guys at Sandbox AQ, or I'm going to talk to OpenAI, because I know there's a ton of Canadians at OpenAI, and I'm going to figure out how artificial intelligence can be applied here to give me a competitive advantage. Because it's really simple. The competitive advantage that teams, if they can get, teams currently draft core players, which are top 6 forwards, third line center, top 4D, and number 1 goalie. The key players to any perennially successful team. They draft them at a rate of 12.2% on average.
Mm-hmm.
You dump that up to 24. Your problem will be, how do you dump off the players you can't afford to pay, and which of your best friends are going to be the beneficiaries of the tremendous work you've done in the draft? I just can't understand how it's acceptable to do anything at a 12.2% production rate. I think you've heard me say before, what business would say the key player, the most important player, I think, if you can get a $10 million goalie, you want one if he's worth that, right? Because he's playing every night in the playoffs. He's playing 60% of all the games. You want that guy. He's as important as any other company's CFO, COO. And to say, well, I don't really understand that goal. I don't understand goaltender.
Yeah.
How does that?
But it's also,
it
does seem to be the most volatile position, though, right? And it's very reliant. And talking to Kevin Woodley about the environment and the system in front of them, right? So
it's true. Yeah.
It is a great question, because it's, hey, we'd love to find Shesterkin, and then that leads to a whole other thing, Rich, and maybe it's just cyclical, but right now you look at in Canada. They don't have there's no Patrick Waugh, there's no Marty Brodeur. Now, and again, maybe that's cyclical more than anything.
No, it's not.
But yeah.
It's systematic.
Yes.
Because I remember talking to a young goaltender a few years ago. Now, he'd go to Hockey Canada's camp. I'm just using this as an example. It's not the one. They'd ask him to hold his glove here.
Right.
Then he'd go to the pro training camp. They asked to hold his glove here. Then he'd go back to his junior team. And what you see has happened in Russia and in Finland and in Sweden to a similar degree. They've developed a national goaltending coaching strategy. So a player, they all work together to determine what's the right positioning in this situation, what kind of push-offs do we use? And every single goalie in Russia, every single goalie in Finland and Sweden, they're doing the same thing. They're developing their goaltenders with a nationally developed system that takes the input of the best goalie coaches in the country. We don't see anything like that here. So goalies are left to, sort of figured out, to a large degree, figured out themselves. Then they got their goalie coach during the summer who has another different idea. So it's not it's not a crapshoot as much as people think it is. There's a psychological element to it. I've seen Dominik Hasek. I was in Dominik Hasek's apartment in Indianapolis after they sent him down. He's close to tears. He wants to go home because he's embarrassed. He's one of the best players ever to play goal in Europe. He's sent to the minors. He's struggling. And I remember talking to the Toronto Maple Leafs. I said, guys, you should take a look at, I think this guy's the best goalie I've ever seen. They went down to see him, and the GM called me back and said, but Rich, he can't stop a beach ball. And at that time, he couldn't. Right. So I sat with him and said, Dom, he wanted out of his contract. He wants to go home. I said, no, I'll make a deal with you. I'm going to get you traded. And if it doesn't work out by Christmas of the year after you get traded, which would have been the following next summer, I'll help you get out. And the next year, he won the Hart Trophy and the Vezina. But he really couldn't stop.
Did you get a bonus clause in that built in?
That was no. That was interesting because I believed in him. So he had about $400,000 base salary and bonuses. We had bonuses in there, like you win the Vezina, you win the MVP, you win this, that, you win, and then of course the GM's throwing those out like they're just tokens, right? Yeah, whatever. And I think he made off of his $400,000 salary, he made something like $3-4 million in bonuses. That was a good year for all of us.
Yeah, I would think so. Rich Winter joins us, the business support. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We're up to what are we up to now? We're at 3,750 from Najib, and now we're up to 3,900. I see. So we're at 3,900 from Mike. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. We are raising money. We're getting close, by the way. Not only we're not close yet to face value, and I think we will by the end of the show, but we're also getting close to being in the six figures for this year, which is great. And we still got a few days left. So it's fantastic. Remember, packages today and tomorrow, and then Pyramid of Giving on Friday. We'll take a quick break. We'll return to the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your #1 furnace service company for the holidays because we don't charge overtime rates, including 24/7 emergency. Oh, I need service, please, Santa. Tell me your price. My furnace is naughty. Would you please make it nice? No, I can't wait to find it under my tree. Please send me service from Legacy. No overtime or emergency rates during the holidays or ever. That's how you service your Legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
New year, new you. Let's kickstart 2025 by making better life choices, starting with quality pizza from Papa John's. Right now, get 25% off any regular menu price pizza with promo code BETTER25. A deal so good, it might just count as self-care. But hurry, resolutions wait for no one. Offer ends January 5th. Order now at papajohns.ca with promo code BETTER25. Better ingredients, better pizza, better get you some Papa John's.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Elevation models. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine, you can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Get early access to the Bricks Boxing Week blowout. Shop real Boxing Day prices now with deals for every room of your home. Shop door crasher specials like a 3-piece stainless steel appliance package for just $18.97. Take up to $3,000 off big screen TVs, up to $2,000 off sectionals, and up to $750 off sofas. Plus, buy more, save more on dining and bedroom furniture. Up to 25% off. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Vimy and Donnan Hockey are dedicated to skill development for all hockey players. If you are a student athlete interested in growing as both a person and a hockey player, visit vimyridge.epsb.ca or donnan.ca to register for a free shadow day. Beginner or an experienced player, these programs are designed to nurture and develop your skills in a positive and supportive environment. Vimy and Donnan help student athletes pursue their passion for hockey while achieving their academic goals. Register for a Vimy and Donnan Hockey Shadow Day today.
Get ready to make a game day decision with McDonald's Fan Day Deals. Grab a $4 Big Mac, McChicken, or filet fish sandwich exclusively through the McDonald's app. Wow, what a deal. Plus, tax valid on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays for a limited time at participating restaurants in Alberta and Northwest Territories.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
It's the Nissan Winter Ready event. Rogue brings a very winter-friendly standard all-wheel drive at impressive highway fuel efficiency, and you're free to start planning epic drives to the North Pole and everywhere in between. Right now, lease a 2025 Rogue for the equivalent of $89 weekly for 36 months. Plus, qualifying Nissan owners may receive up to $500 in loyalty bonus. That's all-wheel drive for $384 monthly with $3,199 down at 2.99%. Conditions apply. See Nissan.ca for details.
Visit your local Edmonton and area Nissan dealer for more information.
Really? That's Steinberg? You by Culligan. For all your residential water needs, your local water treatment company, more than just big bottles, Culligan.com.
Pro sports, local sports, minor leagues, you got it all. It's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We roll through a lovely Wednesday afternoon. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Rich Winter, of course, who joins us Wednesdays for the business of sports. And we got some great plans coming up. Of course, we'll have the next few Wednesdays off due to Christmas and New Year's. We got some really good guests coming up and plans in the new year for this segment in the show. It's fantastic. Rich got a lot of connections and just has lots of experience in the sporting world. Got a few questions from texters to get to. Rich, I'm curious. Hey guys, maybe you've asked him before, but what did Rich think of the Jerry Maguire movie? I know it's Hollywood, but is it accurate in any point from Curtis?
It's totally accurate. It's in my case, it's frighteningly accurate because he married a girl with one child. I married my wife had 3 children. We got married.
But it's not based on your life.
No, but I mean, a lot of the things in the movie, like
Yeah.
I remember when I first started the business, him sitting around waiting for that fax, waiting for that fax. And then he challenges his agency to be more ethical. And
Yeah.
I ended up in a battle with Alan Eagleson because of his ethics, which ultimately let him put in jail. So I said, there's really no consistencies. Well, other than I'm better looking. And of course, at that point, I get a lot of laughs, but at the end of the day, it's really accurate. And it's a little bit unique, a little bit overblown probably in the agency, but we had an agent in our agency who had a non-compete clause and left with 5 or 6 clients, just didn't care, ended up sued. We won the lawsuit. But so a lot of those dynamics were true. And it had a lot of elements that were things we're working on. I think I have a really close relationship with my clients.
Right.
I'm thinking today, Marian Hossa called to check in, see how I was doing. I hadn't talked to him for a while. He's been really busy with his business because he's created this big business. I've told him we've got to have him on and talk about what he's accomplished.
I've read his book now too, so I got a lot of insight.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
He's created out of nothing while he was still playing $100 million business that he was CEO while he was a winger. And so it's interesting. But just the fact that they call, I talked to Dom the other day, talked to Gio this morning. I think we have a pretty good relationship. And I think that, it's not so much the Maguire character as it was Dickie Fox,
Yeah.
This is a personal relationship business. Remember the old character. And, there's a lot of elements. It's very true.
Now, what about the Cuba Gooding Jr. character? Like I'm sure you've had different clients, Rich, over the years where some guys are just like, just like in life, some friends, like their main focus is money.
Yeah.
Others are different. And that's fine. As long as you're consistent and be honest in what you're like, and I'm sure you've had some agents like Rich, I'll play anywhere. I want the most money. And then others are like, you know what? No, I want to go. Like, that's why I let people like, oh, it's not all about the money. I'm like, garbage. For some people, it is. Not everybody, but some players, 100%,
well,
it's going to be about
the juxtaposition of that is Marian Hossa, as we talked about before, turned down $100 million probably from Edmonton, but probably close to that from 4 or 5 other teams. It takes 7.4 because his focus was being the best player and playing with Davel Datsuk and Zetterberg and all of the other players was important to him to develop as an athlete. On the other hand, Ilya Bryzgalov looked at me and said, buddy, just the money, man. Just give me the I remember thinking, like, we have a really good option in Philadelphia, and they tend to kill goaltenders. He said, doesn't matter. Show me the money. And in the end, they bought him out, and he made $40 million with the buyout monies over 2 years in Philadelphia. So that really was a show him the money. But, and he's happy with that. Like, he's got more money than he needs. He's got a beautiful family.
Why you have to be mad?
Yeah,
the classic Bryzgalov.
He is one of the sweetest, gentlest.
What's he doing now?
He just lives in Philly. He stayed in Philadelphia.
Really?
Yeah. His kids, he had a baby who's now 3 years old. So they went back to the well when their other kids were late teens. And so his son's keeping him busy. But, Briz is just, he's one of the kindest, gentlest, sweetest guys you meet. But he was a guy that was very intelligent. But because most foreign players who have a wife don't pick up the languages quickly because they go home and speak Russian all the time or Czech all the time.
Okay.
Dom was the same. And the problem was he would just try and explain something that's kind of esoteric and complicated. Like, I can't imagine how he would have explained AI and AQ to us today. And it just comes out because he's trying so hard to explain this thing that's of interest to him, right? The one that was the funniest for me was he was asked if he was scared of the vaunted Pittsburgh power play as they're going in the playoffs. He said, not really. I mean, like, I'd be scared of like a bear in the forest, but no one asks a follow-up question because one of his friends in Russia was mauled by a bear a few months earlier, and it was just at the top of his head. Like, if someone asked him the question, it would have made sense, right? Yeah. And then, of course, there was 50 to 60 people dressed in bear costumes at the next Pittsburgh Philadelphia playoff game. But that was Briz's problem. He tried to delve into things. I remember when he got him to Philadelphia, he was doing like little vignettes on Instagram about American history. It's just awesome. But it's and if you get Ryan, we got to get Ryan Suter on at one point. The debates those two had. I mean, we talked about Datsuk and Zetterberg, or Datsuk and Hossa doing the in the circle keep away and how exciting that. Ryan Suter will tell you the most fun he had on road trips is him and Briz debating politics to this day. And it's like, Ryan's a pretty bright guy too. And it's just Briz is we should have Briz. We got to have Briz on.
Oh God. He would be a character. Cause you know what? When he was on his game, he was a really good goaltender.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But like lots of guys, like it's hard to be elite. Like some people could be elite for a year, Rich, like everything goes well, but you've had it's Marian Hossa guys are really hard. Like you can have guys who have a career year.
Yeah.
And then they never get to it. And I find as an agent, when a guy has a career year, let's say it's 6 years into his career. Now, sometimes, they stay and they get closer, but other times you're like, like everything went well for you. Your shooting percentage was high. Yeah. You got 10 assists where you just passed the puck 2 feet
or maybe 9 broken play goals that can't be replicated.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, Briz is an elite goaltender. The problem was he went to Philly and they just kept putting guys in front of him to try and block shots. He just kept saying, "You're paying me You're paying me $10 million. Can I see the puck, please?" Right. Yeah. And that's part of the problem. Philadelphia coach after coach sort of kept a system that prevents the goaltenders from easily seeing the puck and doing their job. And it was very frustrating for him. He just said, "Please just open the lane. I want to see the puck."
The conversation with the client, they're a year or two removed from that career year. When do you find the time to be like, well, we got to have an honest conversation about who you are as a player? When do you find that time as an agent to do it? Because I'm sure, because some guy might be chasing that career year for 2 or 3 years, and they end up going worse because they're like, oh my God, I scored 70 points, and now I'm only a 45-point guy, even though I've only a 45-point guy for every other year, but I have that 1 year, and now they chase that even though it's not realistic. I'm sure. How do you deal with a situation like that?
Well, it's more, I think, not so much that. I think players recognize when they've had a pop that is kind of uncharacteristic of them.
Okay.
It's the deterioration over the course of their career, right? Just getting them to accept. But I find it really amazing that players, for the most part, know where they're at, right?
Right, yeah.
Like, Luke Richardson didn't think he was Paul Coffey. Like, they know that, right? They have a pretty good understanding where they sit. A few exceptions to that, but it's interesting to see how it morphs from a guy like Adam Ernie, who had, was making $2.2 million. Injuries, lack of opportunity. He begins to accept, $775 because they know where they're at. So it's the rare guy that doesn't understand where he's at, right? He may have excuses for it and he may be justified. Like, I never got any opportunity, right? Like, that's the typical refrain that we hear from players, if I had more opportunity. Gordie Howe told me a story one time when we were all on vacation, and I don't know, I was sitting in the back of the boat. I couldn't believe I'm trying to get away from Gordie Howe, get back to the room, get ready for dinner. It seemed kind of counterintuitive to being a Gordie Howe fan growing up. But he said he had this automatic response because he said, I get so many questions when I'm in around Saskatchewan, guys saying, hey, I was played against you in that tournament in Alsace and I outscored you. And Gordie's response was, and I think it's telling, he said, this would shut him down. I'd say, yeah, even if you didn't remember, I remember you. Oh, you were better than me. What are you doing now? Which is, because you ask any NHL player, a lot of NHL players, aside from the McDavids, let's say, how many players were better than you when you were playing at home at 14? And most of them will say tons.
Oh, yes.
Right?
I try to tell people that all the time. This whole sudden infatuation with finding out NHL players at 9 and 10 and 11 years old, like it is beyond stupid. It is unfair to the child.
Oh yeah,
because and people. I'm not putting pressure on my kid. What are you talking about? They hear your conversations, and trust me, they hear way more than you think they hear at that age.
Parents need to read Roger Federer's books, or I don't even know if he has a book, but if he has a book or any, because there's two basic approaches in athletics we see from parents. There's the Tiger Woods approach: absorb the kid in a sport, keep him focused, essentially prevent him from making any friends beyond that small circle. Or on the other hand, Roger's mother wouldn't let him specialize in tennis till he's like 15 or 16.
Yeah.
Made sure he played other sports. And so as a result, Roger has a broad range of friends,
associates.
Guys that went on to run private equity firms in Zurich and all over the place because he didn't have 4 friends like Tiger Woods. And so I think people really should think more about, teach them to grow up. And I think it's really exciting now. We should have a talk about this at some point with the NCAA adjusting the rules. Your kids could have, at 16, your kid could have junior hockey in college for 10 years to develop. Don't worry if he's not the best player today, and let him get all the other skills. I was a catcher. I still find myself making moves that I made as a catcher when I was 14. I don't know how that would have translated into me playing hockey other than as a goaltender, but all of those skills you learn playing everything from tennis to golf to pickleball to cycling to ping pong end up helping make players better players.
And like your example about the NCAA is I look and because I was thinking about the other day, so first round picks, top 10 picks in the NHL. They don't stay in the NHL and play in the 4th line at 18 because they want them to go back to junior and develop. And these are the best of the best.
Yeah.
Yet you look at how many kids who are 16 years of age will play in the Western League on the 4th line.
Stupid. I always say,
I'm like, what are you doing? That's not helping your kid develop. Oh, well, they got to learn. I'm like, no, they don't learn anything. Their confidence is shot. They're barely touching the puck. They're playing 9 minutes a night. You don't do that 2 years later for NHL players. You're 16-year-old. You don't know if they're going to be a top 10 pick. The odds are they won't be because there's only 10 of those in the world. Right? So why do I'm always, people ask, well, he's got to play. They tell me he's got to play there. I'm like, who's they?
No, at the end of the day, I think that they are the ones who want to sign him a contract and keep his rights, prevent him from going to college. That's the they. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I've always said, I don't want my client playing and going up until he's reached the potential he hopes to reach at the next level. So if if you want to be a top 6 forward, first power play unit, don't leave the AHL. Do everything you can to leave the AHL until you do that. Don't leave midget until you're playing at that level. Yep. And I always tell the players, that I represent, especially when I talk to Europeans, is there a statute in your hometown? Yeah, of course, they have one. Yeah. So I says, how tall is it? It's twice my size. I said, so how deep do you think the base is? Oh, like probably pretty deep or it'd fall over, right? I said, exactly. And you know what the base of an athlete is? A hockey player? Called ice time.
Yeah.
And the more you're playing, the stronger base. Yeah, you'll have a hiccup. Everybody has a hiccup.
Of course.
But that'll keep you. And I just don't understand parents not, start educating their kids as to what is ultimately going to be successful. Because you skate 5,000 miles over the course of a couple of years of junior, or you skate 50,000 miles by playing, 1 year of midget, another year of
U18, 100%.
Sort of junior A before you go to. It's just that and it's hard sometimes for parents because, all their buddies are there, and maybe their buddies, are
who cares?
Their buddies might be playing on the first line,
but
they want to be there, because it's like they feel like a failure, and I just think a lot of parents don't really understand. We're going to try and do that with our new website. We're populating with a lot of video to help answer those questions rather than a simple, short little paragraph, but in ways that they would understand. You're developing a young man. And the other thing that I find just horrifying is that these kids are making these decisions, which, number one, bad for their hockey career. But you know what? Kids should be home with their sisters and their brothers. Now, if it's essential and necessary that you have to leave for your hockey career because you're that good at that time, that's a discussion I guess you have to have as a family. But to go away to play on the fourth line and miss all those opportunities to sit with your sister in her room when she's struggling and work through it, or just go to a movie with your family, or break bread with your grandparents on a regular basis. I just think that parents don't understand the value of growing and developing a young man, and they're too focused on growing a hockey player. The young man, if you do that right, will be an asset to a family for the next 80 years. A hockey player probably won't, but at best, he'll be an asset to a professional hockey team for a few years. And if you develop the man, he'll likely become a better hockey player.
Rich, great stuff, man. Have a very Merry Christmas. All the best in the new year, and we will talk to you in 2025.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, you.
You betcha. Let's get to Connor Halley and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Booster Juice, the gift of giving. Never tasted sweeter. Right now, buy a $30 GC at Booster Juice, and you will get a free smoothie for yourself. Download the Boosters Reward app. Stop in today at Booster Juice.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
On the ice night at the NHL level, we got the Ducks and the Jets. Vancouver heads to Utah. Wild host the Panthers. Maple Leafs taking on the Stars. And the Flyers in Detroit taking on the Red Wings. WHLPA heads to Calgary taking on the Hitmen. That gets going at 7 in the AJ. Whitehorse and Lloyd also at 7 at 5 o'clock. In the PWHL, the Toronto Scepters in New York taking on the Sirens. Another week, another starting quarterback in the NFL for the New York Giants. They're going to go back to Drew Lock on Sunday when they take on the Falcons. Falcons going to start rookie Michael Penix Jr., who was named the starter yesterday over veteran Kirk Cousins. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll hear from Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and Stanley Cup champion Ken Danico. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Now for today's holiday special, Legacy Heating and Cooling saves Christmas. Santa's furnace broke down in the shop last night, and the elves couldn't make any toys. That's right, because the HR lady said it's in humane conditions. But ho, 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 golly gee, Santa got a 1-year guarantee, and the elves are working merrily with a brand new furnace from Legacy. Happy holidays from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
New year, new you. Let's kickstart 2025 by making better life choices, starting with quality pizza from Papa John's. Right now, get 25% off any regular menu price pizza with promo code BETTER25. A deal so good, it might just count as self-care. But hurry, resolutions wait for no one. Offer ends January.
Listen to Jason Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense. Stay within your limits. Go to GameSense.ab.ca.
My utility bills are going through the roof. How can I take advantage of the sun and put my lazy roof to work?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Energy team reporting. When you're ready to make your home or business more efficient, Action Electrical has the power to install solar panel systems and EV chargers.
Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta with supercharged skills and strong family values. ActionElectrical.net.
Your furnace can die in the blink of an eye, usually on the coldest night. So why take that chance this winter?
Furnace Family, ATCO's newest home service company, can help. Not sure of your furnace's condition? We can check it for free with the purchase of a new furnace, giving you peace of mind and total comfort all winter long. Daikin offers lifetime warranty on their furnace heat exchangers. It could be the last furnace you ever buy. So call Furnace Family Home Services by ATCO today. Jingle time.
Done right, they are right. FurnaceFamily.com.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
You don't know what awaits you on the road to come, but with the 2025 XC90 from Volvo of Edmonton, you'll have the versatility to take on whatever life throws at you. The new XC90, a luxurious SUV with seating for up to 7, boasts newly upgraded body and wheel design. It's the perfect choice to drive into the coming year. And right now, you'll save $4,500 and lease from 1.49% on all in-stock 2025 XC90s. Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, 1205 101 Street Southwest.
Get ready to make a game day decision with McDonald's Fan Day deals. Grab a $4 Big Mac, McChicken, or filet fish sandwich exclusively through the McDonald's app. Wow, what a deal. Plus, tax valid on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays for a limited time at participating restaurants in Alberta and Northwest Territories.
Get early access to the Bricks Boxing Week blowout. Shop real Boxing Day prices now with deals for every room of your home. Shop Door Crasher specials like a 3-piece stainless steel appliance package for just $18.97. Take up to $3,000 off big screen TVs, up to $2,000 off sectionals, and up to $750 off sofas. Plus, buy more, save more on dining and bedroom furniture, up to 25% off. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Hey, it's Scott from Sherwood and St. Albert Dodge. It's the holiday season, and we have some holiday specials that are better than getting new socks. We have 0% financing on almost all new models. We have the all-new Jeep Compass, nicely equipped, starting under $35,000. And we have holiday cashback, up to $10,000. That's right, buy a new vehicle from us and get up to $10,000 cash to deal with other holiday expenses. Our friendly, highly rated staff are standing by, ready to show you what we can do to put some cheer into your holidays. Only at St. Albert and Sherwood Dodge.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Did you know that Japa offers in-house and on-site service, rain or shine? Japa's service department is here for you. Get a quote now at japamachinery.com.
Tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$5:10. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Hope you're having an awesome day. You want to get in, so we're in the final hour. This is, we're basically 50% of what face value is on this package. It's one of the best packages we've ever had. And what's great about it is this is something that's going to help you for a long, long time. Will help with your health, will help with a lot of things. It's courtesy of Culligan. It is the water home filtration system. It's the high-efficiency smart water softener. Comes with the Aqua Sensor. Then you have the AquaSential smart reverse osmosis system and the whole house chlorine removal. Now, if you anybody who's got residence on the Epcor municipal water supply, you're in. Now, if you're on well water, they will adjust the package so the treatment system matches the well water characteristics of your well water, because not all well water is exactly the same. So they have the ability to make sure that it works for you, because we've had some people, some farm people wondering. Well, don't worry. Culligan knows what they're doing, and they'll make it work for you. The water softener removes the hard scale from the main water supply, which benefits your skin, your hair, your laundry. The reverse osmosis removes dissolved solids, organics, heavy metals, pharmaceuticals, the forever chemicals from household drinking water. And the chlorine removal filter provides house removal of chlorine and chloramines from the main supply to the house. So 833-401-1440. We are at 3,900. A steal right now. Absolute bargain. 833-401-1440. Now let's get to the spec report brought to you by GS Construction. Underground infrastructure, hugely important, not only in your community, but on your main thoroughways to get you to and from work. They remind you, turn your lights on. GS Construction. Yes, please, people. It's 5 o'clock. It's dark out. Okay. Lights on. Okay. The auto doesn't mean your tail lights are on. Please, for the love of hockey sticks, have your tail lights on. It'll make it much safer, especially when there's so much snow today. As Mark Spector joins us. Spec, good afternoon. How you doing, my man?
Oh, pretty good. Lots going on out there, huh? It's good thing you were not in Buffalo, or you'd have to go to the phone lines today, Jay.
And I'm going to be driving in. When they get snow there, that's crazy. We had a lot of snow today. I think we're getting like 4 inches or something. That's what they were predicting. So it's I know I'd shoveled twice before I left the house. So. But I don't like driving over the snow. So either way, though,
you phoned up Marmot Basin, get Brian Road on the phone. I just heard they're opening up the knob tomorrow night, or tomorrow, I should say. So the knob's open tomorrow. That's their last lift to get open. It's ready to go for the Christmas season.
Well, there you go.
All the expert runs that I know you love, all those triple blacks off of there, Jay. They're just your style.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's me. Right. Exactly. How not to ski. I can get down the hill. Just don't ever video it unless you want to. How not to ski 101 from Jason Gregor. Can he get down the hill? Yes. Does he look good? No. Not at all. You're just like, oh, my God. I'm shaking. But, I hadn't skied in probably 20-some years. And my son was doing like Jasper in January. He started skiing, so we went down there. And and my wife was a skier her whole life. So my son's been practicing. So like the first day, literally the second run, they're going through trees. I'm like, what the hell are we doing here? Like I can't barely turn in there. Like, oh God, I was rattled. He's like 6, so he can just turn on a dime, Here I am. Oh my God. And I had to stop like 4 times before I nut myself on the tree. So it was good times. So made it through. Then I took a wrong turn because I'd be in the hill so long, and him and I end up going down a double black diamond. He's crying. I'm like father of the year.
Yeah, way to go, buddy.
He still remembers that. Hey, Dad, remember when we went down that super steep hill? And I was like, oh, I remember.
Skiing's like racquetball. Anybody can ski, but not anybody can be a really good skier. You know what I mean? It's easy to ski. It's not easy to be a good skier. It's easy to play racquetball, but it doesn't mean you're going to win any tournaments here.
Yeah, like I can hit the ball doesn't mean I can hit it consecutively.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
The Oilers' day off, they take on the Boston Bruins last night in Calgary. The Bruins get a win. So I asked you, Spec, I was looking at the start. Stuart Skinner, the last time he started 3 in a row was in November 19th, 21st, and 23rd. He had beaten Ottawa, then he had the loss to Minnesota, and then they went right back to him against the Rangers, and he played really well. And then it's Pickard, Skinner twice, Pickard, Skinner twice, Pickard, Skinner twice. So they got 3 games in 4 days. He's obviously not playing them all. Does Pickard go tomorrow? Because if he goes tomorrow, then he's playing 2 of 3. Do you think they're going to play Pickard 2 out of 3 heading into the break?
Nope. I would say that generally heading into any 3 of 4, your starter's going to play the first one, and then the back-to-backs get split. So I bet you Skinner gets Boston and Ottawa, and I'll bet you Pickard gets San Jose on Saturday. That's my guess. Jason?
Hey, Spec, this just coming down, a trade in the NHL.
Yes, Kakko.
Kaapo Kakko has been traded from the Rangers to the Seattle Kraken in exchange for Will Borgen, a 3rd rounder, and a 6th rounder. God, I really love this deal for Seattle.
Yeah, he's an exciting prospect. Kakko went stale. Kakko went stale in New York. Frankly, it sounds like he got into it with Laviolette. If I'm the Rangers, I'd get rid of Laviolette and keep Kakko personally. But he had 40 points a couple years ago. Last year, he kind of fell off. He was like closer to what I got here, 19 points. This year, he's got 14 points in 30, so he's back on a 40-point pace. For a second overall, he was a second overall, right, Kakko? So he's not quite turning into what the Rangers hoped he'd be the day they drafted him, but sometimes those guys just take a little longer. Maybe Seattle gets him at the right time, Jay.
But he's only like now he'll turn 24 in February. He's a young player, right? Like he's another prime example of he never should have been in the NHL when they brought him. He wasn't ready. To me, it was just I never understood why he came directly to the NHL at that point. I didn't understand it at all. He didn't play a lot of minutes. Not like give me a break. It didn't make sense to me at all. And so, you know what, responsible guy. I don't know if he's going to be a high-end guy and live up to a number 2 overall pick as far as point goes. You know, probably not based on what he's done so far, but could he be a 55, 60-point player maybe?
Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
I would never, ever, first of all, we've seen how many 18-year-olds the Oilers put in the NHL and how many of them wouldn't have been better off spending a year in the A at least, right? Of all those guys, those Yakupovs and Nuge and, you know, Hall. And at the moment when you're drafting so high, your fans want to see him, your team's not very good, and you get enticed into playing that guy at 18. But a European guy, especially a player that's never played in North America, to take that player and at 18. And I mean, to me, if I'm a GM, knowing what we know watching the movie here in Edmonton, Jay, as long as we have, that guy stays and plays another year in Finland, or he plays on my AHL team. There's no way I play an 18-year-old European kid. His first North American game he ever played was for the New York Rangers. He went -26 as a rookie.
Oh, yeah, I know. It wasn't
right.
And I think people are so quick to now. Some guys, like, you know, you've got to show smarts and everything like that. But I don't know how good Capo Caco will be. When I look at the history of European players, and guys don't really break out till 22, 23, and how he's being used in opportunities. And the other thing is in Seattle, you look at that lineup. If I'm the Seattle Kraken, I'm talking to my coach. I'm like, we got to give this kid. I don't care. We're not making the playoffs right now. Let's give this kid opportunity. We got Shane Wright. We got Beniers. Like, I don't need Jaden Schwartz and all these other guys getting tons of opportunities now. We know what they are as players. Let's find out what this kid is.
Well, I mean, it's hard to do that. Like, I hear you. And it's, you know, the things we're talking about when you're a bad team, you draft high and then you don't play the guy on your team. That's a ballsy decision. And oftentimes you got an owner breathing down your neck saying, hey, we're not selling tickets because we suck. So we need this kid. What you're saying, don't worry about wins, Seattle, because you're not as good as Vegas. You're not as good as Edmonton. You're not as good as LA. You're probably not as good as Vancouver, right? You're not going to make the playoffs. That's hard to tell Ronnie Francis and the owner of that team in Seattle. You're right. I agree with you, Jay. Yeah. But that's a tough sell in Seattle.
Well, but see, I think you got to have better long-term vision. And Seattle has to understand that the only way we're going to get making the playoffs and just being a middle of the team does nothing for us. We're better off missing the playoffs, developing our young players properly, giving them experience, keeping some guys around them. That's fine, but that's where we're going to be. And so making the playoffs, and be honest with your organization and your fan base and say, hey, this, and like people, oh, well, the NBA's coming. Who cares? Who cares? The majority of your hockey fans aren't going to be stolen by NBA fans. And the NBA is going to be a brand new expansion team. You think they're going to be good? Trust me, the NBA doesn't have as many. Like, you can't find a Jared McCann very rarely as the 10th guy on another team.
Right.
It doesn't happen very often.
No, and the other thing is that the people that own the Seattle Kraken are going to own the NBA team. So, you know, what do they care? Right? They're the ones bringing it in. So, hey, listen, I think when I look at the Buffaloes, right, when I look at what's going on there, when I look at what's going on in Montreal as they try to build, and it's taken longer than we all thought, I just keep thinking back to what we watched in Edmonton. Edmonton was the team that had the longest playoff miss streak, I believe, at 10 years. They tied the record before Buffalo obliterated it. And we watched all the mistakes here. We saw the mistakes. We, as media and fans, we lived through the mistakes. And now that we look back at the mistakes, we can see, I see a Buffalo team that reminds me of when Hall and Ebbs and Nuge were the best players on the Oilers, and they were bringing in veterans that weren't that good and they weren't great leaders. We watched this movie, man. So we have a little bit different look at things here in Edmonton. We finally came out the other end. I talking about Buffalo, I feel so bad for that fan base because it does not look like they're coming out the other end. In fact, Jay, they're starting to recycle through guys they drafted. Reinhardt and Eichel are gone, right? At least in Edmonton, the leaders of a really good Oilers team now are Nugent Hopkins, Nurse, Draisaitl, McDavid. Those guys you picked with your high picks, right? Bouchard.
Yeah.
That's Buffalo's already running those guys out of town, for Pete's sakes.
Yeah, that has not been very good at all. The Bruins spec, they got that win in Calgary. They had a great comeback, and then Pasternak scored. This Bruins team isn't the Bruins team of the last few seasons. They're just not. Nope. And I think, I'm very curious to see how the Oilers bounce back after what was obviously a sloppy game on Monday night.
Yeah, I think you know what? I don't bet. If I did bet, I'd bet Edmonton. And this is why. Boston's at the end of a 5-game road trip. Eastern teams that go on long trips, by the 5th game, they're not used to being away from that long. This is a tough game for an Eastern team. They don't have a lot of Eastern teams don't play a 5-game road trip, and they don't stay out of their beds as long as the Bruins have on this trip. That's one thing. The Oilers have played 2 sloppy defensive games in a row. I know they beat Vegas 6-3, but they gave up a ton of chances. I think you'll see a good Oilers team really dial down and dial in here. Edmonton's got 3 games before the break. I was just talking to Adam Henrique off the record a couple days ago, and he said, hey, we got 3 games left. We want to make this a good run into Christmas. We don't want to sit around at Christmas thinking about points we left on the table. Edmonton's focused. Boston's tired. I don't see how the Oilers don't have a real good chance of winning this game tomorrow night.
Spec, we will chat with you tomorrow. Have a great day.
Hey, sounds good, Jay.
There you go. Najib is back in at $4,000 on the month of giving package today from Colligan. We'll get to that. And also, Ken Danico next on the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
New year, new you. Let's kickstart 2025 by making better life choices, starting with quality pizza from Papa John's. Right now, get 25% off any regular menu price pizza with promo code BETTER25. A deal so good, it might just count as self-care. But hurry, resolutions wait for no one. Offer ends January 5th. Order now at papajohns.ca with promo code BETTER25. Better ingredients, better pizza, better get you some Papa John's.
Get early access to the Bricks Boxing Week blowout. Shop real Boxing Day prices now with deals for every room of your home. Shop door crasher specials like a 3-piece stainless steel appliance package for just $18.97. Take up to $3,000 off big screen TVs, up to $2,000 off sectionals, and up to $750 off sofas. Plus, buy more, save more on dining and bedroom furniture. Up to 25% off. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
In 1973, deep in the basement of an Edmonton family home, an elite team of specialized forces came together to form Action Electrical.
Action Electrical Divisions, assemble.
Projects team reporting.
Service team reporting.
Testing team reporting.
Energy team reporting.
Supercharged with skills in their electrical fields and grounded by strong family values, facing an electrical
and you get a new one every month.
The men and women of Action, operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Get ready to make a game day decision with McDonald's Fan Day deals. Grab a $4 Big Mac, McChicken, or filet fish sandwich exclusively through the McDonald's app. Wow, what a deal. Plus, tax valid on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays for a limited time at participating restaurants in Alberta and Northwest Territories.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantorg. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantorg.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Well, good song choice. Good song choice. The mayor of the Devils, Ken Danico, of course. Geez, what did Kenny win? 3 Stanley Cups as a member of the New Jersey Devils in their Hall of Fame. Of course, now is a longtime broadcaster, pride of Edmonton, Alberta. Was an 18th overall selection for the Devils back in 1982. Joins us now. Kenny, welcome back to the show, my man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Jason. Good to be with you. First off, I hope you can see me and hear me because I'm in Columbus, Ohio for a game tomorrow, and I've kind of got a makeshift stand and all those kinds of things. So I hope it's working okay. But good to be on with you.
I can see you just fine. I see your Devils hoodie that you're rocking right now. So we got the same hairstyle, so that's perfect too.
There you go.
Let's talk about this New Jersey team, and specifically in that division. The Rangers, I'm sure Devils fans are loving this. The Rangers are in utter turmoil right now, and the Devils are playing great. And you're battling Washington, Ken. Like, I'm sure at the start of the season, not many people saw the Washington Capitals as the team. Everybody said, the Devils are going to compete for the division, but probably against Carolina, maybe the Rangers. But it's actually the Capitals right now that are giving their best run.
Yeah, and isn't that what makes our game great going into the season? We have all these predictions, and it's usually the same teams from last year that we say are going to be first, second, and third. And many people thought the Devils were improved, but I wasn't one of those guys that was saying it was wait and see for me. I didn't know if they'd battle for the top 3 spots. They had to prove it. And so far, so good as far as the way they have played. And yeah, the Capitals, I guess, have been the surprise of the Metropolitan Division. But if you look at their roster and you look at how the goaltending has shaped up and both guys performing well, it's a pretty good team. They did a lot of good things in the offseason. They just play a hard brand, a hard style of play, north-south. They've got a lot of guys having career years, young guys that have taken a step like McMichael. They revamped their defense. They're a really good hockey team. Devils have already played them 4 times this year, so they don't meet again. It was all in the first 6 weeks of the season, which is kind of peculiar, but they were great games. They all were close. The Devils went 2-1-1 against the Caps. Every game pretty well a 1-goal game. And I tell you right now, I know it's early, but that would be one heck of a playoff series in my estimation.
Ken, looking at this Devils team, now you've had, good 30-game stretch. Markstrom's in there now full time. Overall, and they've kept Netris in the minors, all right? The young Nemec, in the minors, which I think is fantastic. But you've kind of got 30 games now. You probably got a decent sense. What do you like best about this Devils team? Is there any area you think that Tom Fitzgerald might be looking to improve on over the next 2 months before the deadline?
Well, so far, I would say, Jason, well-balanced, but the biggest improvement by a long shot is on defense. The 3 guys they added in Brendan Dillon, Brett Pesce, and Johnny Kovacevic have not been good. They've been outstanding, and they defend. And we know you've got to be able to play defense in this league. We talk about, so many teams wanting that puck mover and guy that joins the attack. I get the game has gone that way, and I love high-end skill, creativity. But if it's not balanced, it's not going to be effective because you got to be able to keep the puck out of your net. And the defense has been a revelation here because it was not good last year. All of a sudden, you have 3 pairs on the back end that it doesn't matter what line is out against them, top lines, whatever it may be. They feel comfortable with the 6 guys they have right now, and they've all stayed healthy. And you have Luke Hughes, who has grown by leaps and bounds, who is that new wave, tremendous skater guy that can join the attack. And now his offense is coming, but where he's improved his game immensely is defensively. He's not making many mistakes like his rookie season. He's using his stick well. He closes gaps with that great skating ability. So it's on the defense. Yes, the goaltending has been more than adequate, which it wasn't last year, and that's all part of it. But for me, the biggest difference in this team is the 6 defensemen they put out there every night. They've got Brad Hughes. We know they always had that young talent and continue to grow offensively, and they're playing extremely well. And added Mason, who's scoring goals, and just Timo Meyer's having a strong year and bringing that physical element. So you can go on down the list. But for me, it's the 6 defensemen every night that have just been so sound. And Sheldon Keefe has got them to buy in to play defense first and get the puck to your speedy forwards and go in transition. And that's how they've had success so far this year with the record they have.
I know the year they got him, of course, he ended up with 40 goals. And I don't know if he's necessarily a 40-goal guy, but he's a huge man in Timo Meier. And I think his importance might not be all on goals. Obviously, you know what? You're paying him big money. You want him to score some goals, and he'll be around a 25 to 30-goal guy. But his physical game, Ken, how important is it for that team, especially when you mention Hughes and Brad, who are kind of smaller guys, that you need a guy like Meier in their top 6?
It's huge, and you're absolutely right when you say he's not just measured on goals and assists. And I know so often, whether it's the media, whether it's us or the fans, everybody looks at goals and assists, and that determines what kind of season you're having. And he's having a decent season, no question about it from an offensive standpoint. But it's the things, it's winning the board battles, it's the compete. He's a beast. He's 220 pounds, and you need that balance to make a good team. It's not just the 18 best skilled players. It's having roles, understanding what your role is. And that's what Sheldon Keefe has really gotten across, and general manager Tom Fitzgerald, when he added certain pieces, not just the Myers, who's got that skill to bring offense and score goals, but the Paul Cotters, who can skate, and he's big and he's strong on the puck, and Mason, who's been terrific on the power play. But these guys win those battles and those 50-50 pucks that we know are so important night in, night out. And they have that balance, and that's the big difference for me. I mean, they had the flash and dash a couple of years ago. I think we might have talked about it, where a lot of high-end skill, but to me wasn't sustainable without adding those other pieces. The Myers, Andre Palat, who's gotten a little bit hot lately, 3 goals in his last 4 games, hadn't provided a lot of offense, and everybody was down on him. I'm going, you guys are crazy to be down on Andre Palat. This is a winner. This is a guy that knows what it takes. He's a 2-time champion. That resonates in the room. He complimented Hughes and Brad tremendously as far as being the guy that does the dirty work. The points weren't coming. Well, now they're starting to come a little bit for him, and now everybody's okay in Jersey with him. But everybody, game to game, that's what fans are, emotional. But I've always seen Andre Palat's value. They look at the contract, whatever. Who cares if it's, he got rewarded for being a champion. No question about it. But there's a reason he's a champion. You need guys like Andre Palat in your dressing room, in your lineup, regardless if he puts up only 35, 40 points. He brings so much of the intangibles that you need to have success, not only during the regular season, to be a playoff team. And that's what the Devils are trying to be, a sustainable playoff team nowadays. And then to make some noise in the playoffs, those are the guys, the Myers, the Palats, the Nasons, the Paul Cotters, that are so important to your club, not just the Hugheses, the Heischers, and Brats. Yeah, they got to do their thing. But if you don't have guys that can compete and battle, and certainly a big defenseman, in my opinion, no question about it. And that's what Fitzgerald did a really good job on, adding those guys. And Kovacevic, I don't know if you watched him, Jason, but
buddy.
I mean, I don't know what people were missing or not, and all of us were. The guy's a hell of a player. And he just doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He plays abrasive enough. He gets the puck up to the forwards quickly. He's got a great stick, defends well. And to get him from the Montreal Canadiens was a real revelation, surprise as far as what he has done, more than we've ever expected. But if you looked at what he did in Montreal, and people, I know we don't always look at plus minus, but I do to a certain extent when you're not on a very good team, and they weren't a very good team the last couple of years rebuilding. He was a plus player 2 years in a row. That's hard to do.
Yes.
That needs on for a lot of goals for and goals against. And obviously, that's what Tom Fitzgerald saw. He wanted more depth, but he's been that and then some on a top pairing defensively with Siegenthaler, who's improved his game because he did not have a very good year last year. And he's he's gotten right back to being a really sound defensive defenseman, getting the puck up quickly. And so those guys, you know, the guys you don't talk a lot about, or the names we don't hear as much about, have been a big reason why this Devils team has played so much better and so much consistently, shall I say.
Ken Danico joins us. Well, Ken, you look at Kovacevic and, you know, the plus minus, but you just look at today's NHL and what's successful. You need trees on the back end, unless you got like elite guys. And what is this? 225 pounds. Like when the playoffs come, he just takes up more space, right? Like it's hard to get around a guy. And so I look at that. And when you look at a lot of these teams who win, you know, most of them always have one or two guys that they got and an absolute fleece job in a trade. Right now, maybe you'll say we got lucky, but they obviously traded for him, so they saw something. What they give up, a 5th rounder, if my memory's correct.
Possibly, but
yeah,
right around there.
Yeah, they don't give up very much. And then, like, I always chuckle when people, well, he's only a third pair defenseman. I'm like, what are you talking about? Only a third pair defenseman? He's probably playing 15 minutes a night. Like he's on the ice for 25% of the time.
Try 20.
20. Well, even better. So yeah, he's like a number 4 on your team then, right? Like playing 20 minutes a night.
All of them play that much, so they don't get worn down. All 6 guys, depending, you know, certain nights, some guys are going a little better and they might get a couple extra minutes. But that's what's given them success this year, where they're very comfortable, Coach Keefe and his staff, of throwing out any pairing at any time against anyone. And you just can't say that too often in this league about the depth and defense, and certainly not in New Jersey, because that was our Achilles heel for I'd say a handful of years, was the back end. But they feel comfortable throwing these guys out, and Kovacevic is just shy of 20 minutes a night. Absolutely. And just, you have to have those guys. You're out unless, and I agree with you, Jason, today's game, the way it's gone and the speed and the agility of these players, I mean, it's remarkable, and we love to watch it. But unless you're Quinn Hughes at his size and can do what Quinn Hughes can do, and the great skating ability and high hockey IQ and the escapability and the way he can twist and turn, that's why he's an elite defenseman. But not too many small defensemen in this game excel unless you're at that level, skill-wise and skating-wise.
And one last guy who, you know, currently the Devils have 5 guys who are already double digits in goals. And Brad and Hughes and Heischer and Meyer might think, oh, yeah. But then there's this guy, Steven Nosen, who's got 14 goals. You know, he signed a 3-year deal at 2.75, like an unreal value contract for New Jersey. And if you look at in Carolina when he got opportunities, like this guy's been around a long time. And just the last few years here, like this guy gutted it out up and down in the minors, healthy scratch. And suddenly now he's really found his game starting Carolina. Like the Devils got to be thrilled. Like I knew they signed him to be a good guy, but he's been great for them. And is, you know, the guy's on pace to score 30 goals.
Yeah, and if you look up perseverance in the dictionary, you'd probably see, along with some other players, Stefan Nason's face right there on the page, because just what you'd mentioned, up, down. If people don't remember, he was a first rounder many years ago, I think, to the Ottawa Senators, and he just couldn't get to the level to be an everyday NHLer. It took him time, and then he'd get a sniff, and then he'd be back down in the minors. And the Devils had him, so they had familiarity with him as well, and knew his character and what he brought in the room, and certainly some physicality and strength, and with a little bit of touch around the net. But where he really developed his game, and he gives a lot of credit to, and I would have to absolutely agree, is Rod Brind'Amour in Carolina, getting his opportunity, having a career high 14 goals last year. He's already matched that you mentioned it so far, with over a half a season to go here with the Devils. But he just said Brind'Amour believed in him. Everybody had a role there, and he excelled in the Carolina system. And that's what got him the 3-year deal and free agent deal at just under $3 million a year. But for a guy that has just worked his tail off, you know, a great team guy, it's about winning. He's a leader, and Fitzy really did a good job. That's Tom Fitzgerald, the general manager of, you know, you never know in September if all these signings or trades are going to work. But what you try to do is bring in good people, character people, and If he gets the amount of goals he's had already, well, that's a bonus because nobody expected that. But he brought him in, and he's really good around the net, especially on that power play. Got a really nice set of hands, and he's a big body, hard to move. So I have time for guys like Stefan Nason all day because he has worked for every damn thing he's got in this league, and now he's finding success, and the Devils are certainly glad to have him because they would not be where they are right now. A long way to go, but certainly feeling good about their team without guys like Nason.
Ken, my man, always great to catch up with you. Enjoy Columbus and have a very Merry Christmas and all the best in 2025. We'll talk to you next year.
Thanks, Jason. Always pleasure being on with you. And yeah, we got some good hockey remaining here. Should be a lot of fun for sure.
There you go. There's Ken Danico, 3-time Stanley Cup champion. Of course, he's in the New Jersey Devils Hall of Fame, one of the more popular Devils of all time. We'll come back. We got some bids coming in. Final to get in there, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 in our eWell inbox on the Culligan package.
Get ready to make a game day decision with McDonald's Fan Day deals. Grab a $4 Big Mac, McChicken, or filet fish sandwich exclusively through the McDonald's app. Wow, what a deal. Plus, tax valid on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays for a limited time at participating restaurants in Alberta and Northwest Territories.
Checking off your gift list can go more smoothly when you give smoothies. From now till December 31st, buy a $30 Booster Juice gift card and gift yourself with any regular size smoothie for free. Try the new salted caramel smoothie made with vanilla oat beverage, vanilla frozen yogurt, and decadent caramel. It pairs magically with the salted caramel booster ball, bursting with score toffee bites, cinnamon, maple syrup, cashew butter, and more. Happiest of holidays from Booster Juice. Download the Booster Rewards app today.
Adventure just doesn't stumble into your life. It roars to life with Riverside Motorsports. Tearing up trails or cruising the open road. Yamaha ATVs, side-by-sides, motorcycles, and dirt bikes deliver the performance you crave. Built for thrills, ready for your next adventure. Yamaha's legendary performance and reliability take you there. Make Mother Nature your playground on a Yamaha from Riverside Motorsports. Located on St. Albert Trail. RideRiverside.com. Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
Get early access to the Bricks Boxing Week blowout. Shop real Boxing Day prices now with deals for every room of your home. Shop door crasher specials like a 3-piece stainless steel appliance package for just $18.97. Take up to $3,000 off big screen TVs, up to $2,000 off sectionals, and up to $750 off sofas. Plus, buy more, save more on dining and bedroom furniture, up to 25% off. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Elevation models. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine, you can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet every week all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Portions of this hour brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. The Canada-wide clearance is on now at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on a 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Elevation. See more at gmcoffers.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Well, a little Christmas music. Getting in the spirit as we are 1 week away from the arrival of Big Saint Nick. You have, depending on your characteristics, you either have lots of time still to shop or you're getting up against the clock, getting a little nervous potentially. So we will see. Najib is in at 42.50. We had Steve at 41.50. Now Najib comes in at 42.50. So hey, we're getting closer to the final. So please answer your phones, because Cons always likes to call you guys to get everybody their final opportunities, and we'll see where we go from here. So hopefully it keeps going up to raise money for the Christmas Bureau. And then tomorrow we have 2 auction items, and then that's it. Then we have the big, well, not that's it. We have the big pyramid giving on Friday. So, but if you were thinking on buying tomorrow, we have the wine tasting. We have the big. We have 2. We have the wine tasting and the fireplace. Little wine and fire, the romantic package. Some of you want a little fireplace, some wine, nice. And then also we have the big brew house clubhouse package, which should be fantastic. So that'll be great. There we go. Now Steve's back at 4,300. Jesus, smaller bids now as we go up here. See what happens. But hey, all the $50 is extra. It's still good. But remember, like this right now, this will probably be this is one of the biggest packages we ever had, and this is one of the best deals we're ever going to get. Like whoever purchasing this you should be doing cartwheels, because this is going to be an absolute steal. The Culligan High Efficiency Smart Water Softener, the Culligan Aquessential Smart Reverse Osmosis System, and the Whole Home Chlorine Removal, courtesy of Culligan. And if you have EPCOR municipal water supply, it's no problem. If you're on well water, they will adjust it so it matches your well water characteristics. We've had that question from a few people. So you can get in at 833-401-1440. And remember, Collins is going to call you so you can answer your phone. All right. Appreciate that. Najib's up to 4,500. Okay. I like it. Oh, yeah. I bully him off there. And Najib knows a good deal when he can get it. Knows a good deal when he can get it. So we'll see. Steve, it's up to you. And just saying, if we get to 5,000 today, that'll put us right at $100,000 for the month of giving. Just saying. Just saying. So there you go. A few other texts coming in. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. Guys, really good show today. The conversation with Rich really got me thinking about Evan Bouchard. Do you think if he doesn't have a great year, would they possibly look at a bridge deal thinking they could cash in later? And would Edmonton be willing for that? Well, that becomes the negotiation, right? People look and say, well, when a guy cashes in, because a lot of it comes in on timing, right? Timing has so much to do with it. Do you have a great year at the end of those 2 years? Well, then you probably can cash in. Right. So you got to bet on yourself a little bit as a player. And the team, if you keep progressing and playing well, usually the team's okay with it. But if you get them on a bridge deal, that means 2 more years in your prime at potentially a really good value contract. Well, that's great. So, there's lots of ways to look at it. You can sign a guy long-term right away, but it's a higher AAV. And then there's more pressure. There's more to live up to. And there's lots of guys around the league who are, in their early 20s, mid-20s, who signed long-term deals, and people thought, oh, it's going to be a bargain. It didn't turn out to be a bargain. And in some cases, the player still hasn't lived up to it. So I'm always leery of saying that it's going to be an automatic win if you get a guy in a long-term deal that they'll automatically knock it out of the park every year. It's not always the case. So I don't know. I think the Bouchard season is likely going to lower his AAV. Like, I don't know if it was ever 10 million. I know that was talked about. I don't know if that was ever going to be there, because you got to look at comparables. Like Quinn Hughes didn't get 10 million, right? Cale Makar didn't, and Bouchard's an RFA, right? Now, if his next contract's long-term, you're buying UFA years, so that does impact it for sure. No question about it. But, there's lots of things to look into. And as Rich said, you got to do all your studies. And so we'd have to, as the season gets closer, I think it's probably better to look at the final comparables at the end of the season. So there you go. I see Conza is on the phone now. So 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. I think we got a bid, so Con's going to call Najee back. And then he's going to figure it out. So there we go. And we'll see what's happening there. So there you go. A few other hey guys, what was the name of the Tony the Tiger? It was Thurl Ravenscroft that we learned today. Connor, that before you make the phone call, I want to get your quick thoughts. Our listener G pointed it out earlier. The song The Grinch, You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch. Most of you know that song. That's actually Tony the Tiger, same character. Same person, excuse me, not character, but the voice of Thurl Ravenscroft. That was like thing I never knew until today.
Yeah, I was impressed that that kind of pull was very impressive. He had a long career doing voice work, The Brave Little Toaster, one of my favorite series as a kid.
The what?
The Brave Little Toaster.
Oh, yeah, well, you're younger than me. Obviously, I was a little bit older.
Yeah.
The Brave Little Toaster.
Yeah, there was a few of them, and he was a big part of that. He was the Hobbit. He was in the Lorax, like the original ones. So
he was in the Hobbit.
Well, not the one you're thinking.
Oh, okay.
Cartoon from the 70s. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he wasn't in that one. Unfortunately, he has passed away. He did so back in 2005. So missed out on that. But yeah, I look at his Wikipedia page. Pretty impressive.
Oh, okay. I like it. I like it a lot. Well, anybody out there, if you're looking for random knowledge, Tony the Tiger. So, Cause will get you to work that phone just because we want to call Najee back. He's allowed his final bid in, just to be fair. So we'll get to that. After a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home with no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. Stay warm this winter at legacyheating.ca. Enjoy the night. Tomorrow, we got lots to talk about. The Boston Bruins are in town, taking on the Edmonton Oilers. Is Arbitration going to play? We'll find out. Will they start in goal? And more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. A lot of people texting in, Con, Brave Little Toaster was their childhood. Same, you got to be a certain age. I never even heard of it till today. So learning a lot on the show. Good night.
The Sports 1440 update.
Couple games underway in the NHL right now after 20 minutes. Wings and Flyers tied at 1 apiece. Midway through the first down in Dallas, Stars and Leafs also tied at 1. Later tonight, you got the Wild and the Panthers. Canucks in Utah, and the Ducks hosting the Jets. A trade today is the New York Rangers sending forward Capo Caco to the Seattle Kraken in exchange for defenseman Will Borgen, a 2025 third-round pick, and a 2025 sixth-round pick. Caco, 23, has 4 goals, 14 points in 30 games so far this season with the Rangers. Elsewhere in the hockey world today, WHL action at the PA Raiders taking on Calgary. That'll get going just after 7 o'clock in the AJ Whitecourt in Lloyd. Puck drop also at 7, and we're underway in the PWHL. Scepters taking on the New York Sirens after, 19 minutes played. That game is currently scoreless from the NFL. Drew Lock will start for the New York Giants this week, and they take on the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons, of course, starting rookie quarterback Michael Penix Jr. He was named the starter yesterday, taking over for Kirk Cousins. That's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, we've got Fox Sports Radio. Live coverage returning tomorrow morning on the Kevin Carius Show with Kevin Carius, as well as Brandon Douglas. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440.